Wow, 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 wow. Women, women, lots of pretty women. Men, we can't live without them. Women, lots of pretty women. Men, we can't live without them. Skin on skin, let love begin. Women, hello, man babies. Bit of Def Leppard, Women for you there. And that's in honor of the many fabulous women of the Star Wars universe. And we're about to get stuck right into a few of them tonight, let me tell you. So, hello to you all. Hello to the chat. I see you all, you bunch of man babies. And do we have a show for you tonight? It's back to our usual shitting all over Disney Star Wars on a Wednesday night. We know you love it as much as we do. So, we've got, tell you what, we've got, and thank you, Cider Feet. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. And Phil didn't enjoy it so much, but hey, you can't please everyone. I do like to divide the fan base, as you know. So we've got a hell of a panel for you of retrobates, all getting oiled up and ready in the green room. We've got an unusually big panel because everyone wants to have a bit of a say on Ahsoka. So yeah, we've got some very special guests I'm going to roll out. But before we do, few formalities. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of August, 2023. I am, well, you know who I am. I'm Ruin Johnson, the greatest Hollywood director of modern times, of all time. And on this evening's stream / podcast, we are discussing Ahsoka, the Disney Plus series, episode 1. We're only doing episode 1 tonight because, frankly, would all be bored to tears or suicidal if we tried to do both of the released episodes. But I'm sure we'll get to episode 2 at some point. So before we begin, you can find us on YouTube. We are a 3K channel here on the Brown Alliance. We recently tipped that one. So if you've not already subscribed, make sure you do. And I'll send you a copy of The Last Jedi. If you prefer your podcast and entertainment form or vice versa, we're on Spotify. And as always, we're on OnlyFans, and currently Swappers has got his arse out, giving it the Hugh Edwards to the camera. So make sure you go check us out there. All the links are in the description. If you've not shut down for the evening, lots to get through. Let's not get bogged down in the intros. Let's get the guests out. So I'm going to shake it up a little bit tonight. I'm going for slightly different introductions. So first of all, here's the greatest thief because he stole my heart from across the galaxy. He's the golden reach around droid of choice, the android with the hemorrhoids. It's Zee-ThreePIO. Z, turn your damn mic on. We can't hear you.
Oh, that might help if I engage my vocal circuits. I do apologize, Master Ruin.
That's okay, Z. Z, great to see you again, my friend. And well, I don't want to preempt what's coming up, but I can't help but say we had a rather sexy black droid there. Was that a bit of your sort?
There are lots of sexy droids in this series, sir. I've
Ooh.
spotted several that I'm going to look at in private later on tonight.
Oh wow. Okay. The old top shelf mag featuring the hottest droids of the galaxies. Z's all over it. Well, Z, I'd love to chat for longer, but we've literally got a football squad of guests to roll out. So should we get the next retrobate out? We'll
Oh,
chat
let's,
more.
please.
Let's do it. Okay. So next of all, he must have been a Girl Scout because he tied my heart up in knots. Watch out, War and Peace. It's the Star Wars novelist, the Jester from Leicester. It's Swap Shop.
Oh, hello, everybody. How are we on this fine Wednesday evening?
Oh, I'd say you started off. I thought you were going into a bit of Kipling Palpatine, but
I don't quite have the avatar. I don't quite have the avatar for that this week, but you never know. It might pop out once in a while.
Well,
Yeah. I was a bit confused by what you said about my intro there. I mean, I wasn't quite sure if I was a girl or a boy, but judging by my avatar, I'm not really affirmed either way anyway. So
Well, I can't detect much hair on that arse, so I don't know. I don't know if that's a fair judge
shaved
of
especially for the
things
show.
these days. But yes, I'm changing things up tonight, Swappers. But please, bit of love for Swappers' avatar is truly brilliant, and we've got some other crackers coming as well. Swappers, I'm going to come back to you shortly. We're going to get opening thoughts, but if you don't mind, I need to get more retrobates out because we'll be here till midnight just with the intro. Is that okay, Swappers?
Yep, fill her up, get them out.
Okay, let's do it. My next retrobate, he may not be lunar, but I'm sure he knows how to love good. He is in the top 10 ASMR artist in the category of twink. It's Dark Sith Lord Chord. Here he comes, everyone. Lord Chord.
I've still not broken into the top 5. What
Top
more do I
10's
have to
good.
do?
I don't know. Just more throat lozenges. I don't know. Jordy, I'm sick of your face. You're always here. I can't believe it. Can't get rid of you. But it's good to have you on with us.
I
How are
know.
you doing?
I'm like Japanese knotweed or Dave Filoni. It's impossible to move me on.
Oh, what a reference! The old Japanese knotweed. I do love it. Yes, they are like that. That shit stain that just won't wash out, even on a 60-degree wash. But look, I'm sure you've got some thoughts for us on this, Jordy. I mean, in one word, Chord. I'm going to limit you at this stage, just one word. What would your one-word reaction be to Ahsoka tonight?
Confused.
Oh, confused. That one really warrants a longer description. But anyway, we'll
I know,
put you
I'm
on
cock
ice.
teasing. It's how you begin. And
Oh,
then
there we go.
we'll be edging for the rest of the introduction. And eventually, we will get to Spurg all over Ahsoka. So, there's something to look forward to.
Oh, God. Brownie's currently sweating buckets. We're towing the line of demonetization. But anyway, that's how we roll. Thank you, Jordy. Believe it or not, we've got more retrobate. So can we get the next one out? The next one. For my next retrobate, I'm going to need a map because I keep getting lost in his eyes. All the way from the deep, dark, northern Scottish territories. He's my number one fan, camped out in my back garden. It's not Brian Young.
Hey, good evening, Ruin. Good evening, fellow guests. Evening, chat. How are we all?
Very well, Brian. And what a fabulous avatar. There we go. Solo in. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, excellent work. It does look great with the glasses and the goatee. I think you make a better Ahsoka than Rosario Dawson, Brian.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
I should have asked all our guests to do this, but what's your one word instant reaction, Brian, to Ahsoka?
Shite.
Shite. Okay, he's keeping it to the point. Sure, Mega Geek, wherever he is, will resonate with that one. Zee, I'm coming back to you very quickly. Your one word?
Mid.
Mid. Oh, very nice. And Swappers?
Underwhelming.
Underwhelming. Oh, you're making the mess. It's not a game of Scrabble, Swappers. Calm down. Okay, very good. I'll be coming and getting your longer form thoughts very shortly. But can you believe there's still more retrobates? I hope you man babies in the chat appreciate the lineup we've got for you tonight. So, next up, he's like no. Next up, he looks like he's cold, but my arms will warm him up. All the way from the land of Hobbitron, I believe, making his Brown Alliance Wednesday night debut, it's Echo Chamberlain.
Pour some Ahsoka on me.
Oh,
Just keeping the Def Leppard references going.
Oh, you've won my heart, Echo. That was fabulous.
Yeah. Thanks for my debut on the Brown Alliance. It's good to be.
It's your full debut.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, we're so glad to have you on, and for this first episode of Ahsoka. What is Echo? We're obviously going to get your longer form thoughts. But what's your instantaneous one-word reaction to Ahsoka?
Estrogen.
Oh, well, It's yep, he's very on the nose with it, but there we go. Super chats are already flooding in, and Nikki has just thrown a £5 in my proverbial heart. He says, "I'm your number one fan, Ruin. I camp out under your bed." Oh Christ, is that what that noise was in the night? That's freaked me out a little bit. Brian, he's paid with real money, so I'm afraid you've been relegated to my number 2 fan. Nikki is now officially my number 1 fan. Thank you, Nikki. Brownie, I do believe the super long intros may have we may have lost another super chat. I'm sure you could dig that out. But there we go, from our friend Max, who says Disney made Wade a Star Wars story. Make Wade a Star Wars story. One of you retrobates will have to help me out. Who the effing chuffers is Wade? Is he someone from this episode or someone else? Who is he?
How do you not remember Wade?
I'm
Who's
still
Wade?
trying to get over it.
He's one of the most important characters in the entirety of Star Wars canon from Obi-Wan Kenobi episode something. I actually don't remember which episode he's in, but he's really important.
Oh, okay. Well, I was probably high during that one. Never mind. But anyway, let's do it. Let's ruin the lot. I agree with you. Anyway, last but not least, we are we at this point we've peaked and we are now scraping the proverbial barrel. Let's bring him out. Let's give him his full intro. He must be an appendix because I don't know what to do, but I really want to take him out. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He is the man I like to call the Yorkshire Ripper. It's Mr. Brown.
Oh, good evening, Ruin, you destroyer of hopes, dreams of everybody, really.
That's
Hello,
me.
Ruin.
Hello, Brown. We've still got 2 spare squares on the screen. Could you not have got 2 more guests to fill them in?
No.
Oh, okay then. Well, Brown.
Evening chats, evening panel.
What a panel it is, and what a chat it is. I can see already lots of our favourites in there, and some of our least favourites. I'm not going to name names, but can't believe that guy's on again. But anyway, Brownie, what's your one worder for Ahsoka episode 1?
One word.
One word, not a number, not a rating. Don't go early.
One
Take your
word.
Take your time, lad.
Chat,
Take your
help me
time,
out.
Brown.
Oh,
Oh,
I
come
don't
on,
know.
Brown.
Just
You've got a plethora of.
I was going to say
English
why me, but that's 2 words.
What about just
Garbage.
why? Why would be a
Yeah,
good one.
why?
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 Oh, Brownie. He's still worried about the old
Ruin,
MOT,
you
aren't
big
you?
destroyer.
Okay, well, look, here we go. Ahsoka, there she is, the wonderful little pastel-faced Ahsoka. If only she looked half as good as Swapper's or Brian's avatar. So we're doing it. We're at least we're gonna start doing it. But look, the worse it gets, the better the streams are. That's what I always say. So where is he? Tom's gone early. Well done, Tom. And Brown isn't on the Pims side of feet, I'll have you know, not tonight. So everybody, Brownie with his normal coloration problems has put white text on a pale blue background. It's minuscule. You won't be able to read it, but it basically says pants down, bits out, and let's all do the aeroplane because, hey, we've all got to entertain ourselves somehow. Like, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, retweet, repost, all the rest of it. You know what to do. But most of all, let's have some damn fun. And here's a sexy poster. So let's go round the room. I'll give you more than one word this time, but if you get too excitable, I may have to interject. So, Lord Chord, please kick us off. Your opening thoughts. Don't empty the shotgun, Jordy. Save some for the fabulous screen grabs Brownie's got. But please,
Well, that's
your
fine because
opening
I
thoughts.
have an extended clip and magazine, so I have plenty of shots in my shotgun. Do you have clips in shotguns? I don't think you do, but we'll run with that metaphor anyway. Yeah, so this one was always going to be very, very tricky because it's very clearly Dave Filoni's love child. It's the thing he really cares about. All of these characters are his creations, and he finally gets his chance to put them all in live action, paying off storylines from cartoons that fewer people watched than on average a good video of mine might get. So it was tricky to begin with to fulfill that because, well, no one actually really in the general audience is that familiar with Rebels or indeed the Clone Wars. So all of the references this thing will probably throw in, and lo and behold it does, won't actually be understood or appreciated, which means the show can either go one of two ways. It can try and hope, it can try and move on as quickly as possible and just convey the impression of depth, but then get on with the modern day story. Or it can get bogged down and bogged down and bogged down again in exposition dump after exposition dump after exposition dump, which none of the characters involved in the scenes need because they all know it already. And that's the one that it actually took. And research isn't even very helpful, though, because after sort of the initial stupidity of this episode, when it became what I thought was a love letter to cartoons I hadn't seen, I went away, started doing research, and it turns out that actually half the stuff it's referencing isn't even in the cartoons. It happens off screen. No one's seen it. No one understands what it's referencing or calling back to. So it's going to be a really hard one for any casual audience member to actually get into. And it's actually not that easy for somebody who really likes Star Wars to get into either, for all it looks quite impressive from time to time. Yeah, not very impressed, but it's not as stupid as The Mandalorian is yet. So there is that.
What an opening gambit. Excellent, Jordy. I know you're fired up for this one. Brian, can you bring any positivity to the table whatsoever? I know you gave us a pithy summary of shite, but was there anything we can salvage from this?
It looked nice.
Ooh,
it looked quite pretty. I could see some nice visuals in there, and I recognised some Ralph McQuarrie's influence in there. The soundtrack wasn't too bad. I thought surprisingly decent for what we're used to. As for the show itself, I think I can't think of another show that could be probably better appreciated being watched at 2 times speed. I think I dozed off about 4 times during it, and I never fall asleep watching any of these kind of things. Wow. But in my defence, well, it seems I missed nothing, and I haven't seen the cartoons and animation, which maybe could be a big part of it. So already I don't have any investment in the characters whatsoever. I felt that Sabine and the General are pretty obnoxious so far, but there might be more to it. I just don't know. I'm going to rely on Z heavily to get us up to speed on that.
Well,
I think
no, go on, Brian.
I think one of the first thoughts I had, and it's something that I think Platoon spoke about when it came to House of the Dragon, was how accessible is this show going to be? And do you need to know more to appreciate it? And I'm going to hazard a guess and say yes, although from what Platoon was saying there, possibly not. I understood the immediate plot, but there seems to be absolutely bugger all substance for casual viewers.
No, I think you're right, Brian. And also you point out you didn't watch the animated stuff. Hands up, and neither did I, and I think probably several of my retrobates on here didn't either. So we are going to rely heavily on Z. Looking at the chat, and a lot of the chats, some did watch it, some didn't, but it has to work for everyone, doesn't it? That is the challenge of these shows. Has to work for all viewers, and not sure it did based on that first one.
I think it works for Dave Filoni. I think he's the main. As long as Dave Filoni and Ryan Johnson are happy, I don't think they really give a shit how much further ahead. It's appreciated.
Okay, well, thank you, Brian. Z, I'm going to leapfrog right over your dome golden head because I want to save you to last because you're the man with the knowledge. So let's go instead to Swappers. Swappers, my question for you, I'll try and tease out a different angle from everyone. Obviously, it's called Ahsoka and it's centered on and around Ahsoka. What do you make of our leading lady? Based on episode 1, of course.
My memory of Ahsoka is always of Clone Wars. When she first came into it after that feature-length episode, I think it was released in cinemas originally, and she was kind of started off as a whiny, kind of bratty kind of character that put a lot of people off this expanded universe type side story to the prequels. I never really disliked her to any great degree. And then when the TV series came out, I kind of gradually liked her more and more as her character arc went along and she matured. and then she came into Rebels, and she like hugely matured, and she was a completely different character almost to how she started out. And I still thought she was okay. Now in this, I think she's gone a bit way too, I don't know, way too empty. Her character's just not really there. There's no nuance, there's no humor, there's no personality to her whatsoever. It's pretty much like she was in Book of Boba Fett and whatever else she was in before. Mandalorian, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember. Trying to eradicate it from my memory. But she was very kind of, I don't know. I suppose they're trying to make her look more stoic. And because it's live action, you have to be a bit more Game of Thronesy. I don't know. But yeah, there's just no personality to the character now whatsoever. There's no emotion. I think maybe we saw a hint of a smile at one point, but I mean, for the most part, I was just sitting there waiting for something to happen with her, and it's just a bit of a non-character at the moment.
Yeah, it seems to be a trend at Disney, doesn't it, to name an entire series after a main character who then is completely dull and lacking in personality. We've seen it with Mando, we've seen it with Boba Fett, we've seen it with Andor, and now we're seeing with Ahsoka, and arguably you could even throw Obi-Wan into there, despite Ewan McGregor's best efforts. But hey, that's how they roll. Thank you, swappers. Next up, well, he's our debutant. He's Echo Chamberlain. So, Echo Chamberlain, what I'd like from you, if you could, sir, is one thing you really liked, if indeed there is something you really liked, and one thing you really didn't like. So, can you expand on those, please?
One thing I liked, well, I would go with, there was a cool scene where Sabine activates a table which comes up from the floor, and I thought that's an interesting interior design concept. So that was one thing I would say I liked from the show. That's as good as I can get. It's the old Rise of Skywalker problems with a MacGuffin fetch quest where you go from planet to planet, and just those same boring problems and same boring plot concepts. And you've got General Syndulla, if I'm pronouncing that right, and Sabine and Ahsoka, who their personalities aren't especially distinguishable one from another, and there's no particular charisma there. And there's this other thing which annoys me about these shows, which is every single city looks like every single building was built on the same day. In a typical city, you've got buildings that are 400 years old, and then maybe you've got some estates that were built 50 years ago, and you've got different kind of strata layers of a look to a city. But it's a thing that annoys me. And you've got a MacGuffin, which is almost literally a galactic Rubik's cube. That's the best they could come up with. So yeah, but I thought the spaceship design was pretty cool. That's one other thing I liked.
I was quite happy we haven't seen Tatooine yet. That's been quite nice. There's no sandy desert planets yet.
Ooh, I mean, yeah, that what was it? That Witcher's planet was teetering towards a little bit crumbly and deserty, but no, I know you're right, Jordy. We should just be thankful for the small mercies, but give it time, hey? I mean, who knows? Amelia Bedelia in the chat, dare not read it out because we're getting up to 190 odd man babies in the chat, and hello to you all. And I often like to give shout outs, but we'll be here till tomorrow morning if I do. But I see you all. We love you all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to all the newbies joining us for this stream. We're still in our opening parlays.
What's dangerous about the word vagina as opposed to the hard G?
I don't know. Brownie's just got me all tetchy these days. He's, I'm just anything with an F or a C in it. And
no one is going to call anyone in this show, so we'll be good.
Nicely done, Jordy. Brownie, why don't you insert yourself at this point? And while you're there, why don't you read out Cosmic Castaway's fabulous contributions?
$5 super chats. Filoni calls Ahsoka a religious experience. I bet he ran out of tissues.
Oh, well, We'll
Tummy
leave that-
wipes, everybody.
It's the imagination.
Religious
Um,
experience can go one of a number of ways. It could be this euphoric speaking in tongues, falling on the floor, rolling around, or it could be sitting on an uncomfortable pew for 2 hours while a really boring person lectures you about stuff you don't believe in. I think that's closer to the religious experience of Ahsoka.
well, there's
More for me, it
also-
was like one of those Hieronymus Bosch visions of hell. You could also go that way.
I mean, I won't go into my religious experience, but involved the confessional chamber and a very handsy priest. But anyway,
And
that's getting
KK.
really dark. Let's get a bit more of Mr. Brown, if we could. Brownie, I know you've got
obviously,
some thoughts,
I'm
so-
not as skilled as you guys, but while I was doing the slides, pretty much from the first moment, this felt like Dave Filoni's attempt at a cinematic love boner for an orange woman. And it felt like I love women, first of all. Every
Nice to
single
clarify that.
woman on this show just seemed to have a certain smugness about them.
Mm.
Smugness is not a very nice characteristic.
Oh, that's worked for
As it
me,
were.
Brownie. Speak for
Yeah.
yourself.
Smug. And I checked out after, what was the last show? Mando? Was it Mando?
Mando
Mando
series
season-
season 3.
Yeah,
yeah.
at the beginning of Mando season 3, we were all relatively kind of okay, looking forward to it loosely. That finished us off completely. And this, I just wished it had stopped. Please stop.
Oh, it's
That's
barely
it.
started.
Stop.
Oh, oh dear.
No.
Okay.
Sorry,
doesn't
folks.
bode well. Okay, well, last and absolutely no means least, it's our man with the brains, Z. Now, Z, bit of a challenge for you here, because you've got the background knowledge on all these characters and all the animated shows. Can you almost do a bit of a setup for us for all the retrobates and the man babies in the chat who
Hey,
didn't
take
watch
us through 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, 130 something episodes, and then 4 seasons
Please.
of Rebels and
Sit
75
tight,
episodes
everybody.
in
Yes.
5 minutes. Go.
No, not 5 minutes and 3 words.
Okay.
Quincy.
Just mirroring what everybody else has said, if you watch Star Wars The Clone Wars and or Star Wars Rebels, you're probably going to love it and wet your panties with all the references, Easter eggs and guest stars. If you're a normal human being who's managed to avoid 11 seasons worth of animated Star Wars fuckery, you'll probably wonder what everyone is and what they're doing and what they're talking
Yes.
about most of the time. I did see somebody on Twitter refer to this as boring women in space, which suits this series down to the ground. Now, I don't mind a more mature and stoic Ahsoka. That's to be expected given what the character's been through off screen. You didn't see it in the animated series and all that stuff. But my bugbear in this is Mary Elizabeth Wanstead as Hera Syndulla.
Oh.
She's been woefully miscast. Most of the time she's on screen, she's staring aimlessly, waiting for something to happen or somebody to say something. And she's got the on-screen presence of Jaden Smith or Ty Tennant. So she's in desperate need of acting lessons. And I wish she'd stop getting roles through nepotism. By the way, she's Ewan McGregor's missus.
Oh. What fabulous trivia he always
Top
pulls
trivia.
out the bag.
Didn't you guys know that?
No.
Well, now you do.
That's right. He divorced his makeup. There's a lady who did makeup and he married her back in the day, didn't he? But he's traded up for
Yeah.
a green lady.
I said on a previous stream, yeah, they're married, yeah.
We've got a couple of super chats before we get into the good stuff or the not so good stuff. If we could just
Shall I
get
flash them
stuck
up?
into these, yeah, please, Brownie, if you would. Can we just hear a bit of Emperor Kipling, please, swappers on this one?
Party El Mizizi in the chat for $1.99. Just use this combo insult. Cagad.
Excellent work on both. And if I could hand this one to our New Zealand guest, Echo Chamberlain, can you just do this rather long essay from Padawan, please?
All right, if you can bear the swallowed vowels of a New Zealand accent. Panda 1 for 10 here. Filoni should have done a season 5 of Rebels. As a fan of the animated series, these 2 episodes were very frustrating. Ahsoka and Sabine arc is inconsistent. I'm impressed at Filoni's terrible work.
I could listen to you all night, Echo Chamberlain. I may have to start. I'm sorry, Jordy, but you may be dropping out that top 10. I may not be listening to your ASMR as much. I may have.
That's fine. I'll just go on mute and go and drink or something. I don't
know. Anyway, let's. We're getting bogged down, aren't we? And I don't know what. So let's get into the good stuff. Roll the Lucasfilm logo, and we did have a particularly interesting opening. We had, well, I thought it was The Last Jedi at first. We had the red Star Wars logo, and then we had our red scroll. Now, I'm spoiled for choice on who to get to read this. Oh, Jordy, come on. We've done enough ASMR gags. Can you do this in your best? This is your chance to sell ASMR to the man babies out there. Go on, Jordy. Give us your best shots.
Everything I say is ASMR, so I'm just going to do this in my usual way. Oh god, this really pissed me off. The evil Galactic Empire has fallen and a new republic has risen to take its place.
Whoa. No, come on. Put some effort in. Come on, this is your moment to shine, Lord.
However, sinister agents are already at work to undermine the fragile peace.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
No,
we're benching Jordy. We're benching Jordy. Brownie, you're in. Jamaican, go.
A plot is underway to find the lost Imperial Grand Admiral Thrawn and bring him out of exile. Once presumed dead, rumors are spreading of Thrawn's return, which would galvanize the Imperial remnants and start another war. Irie, runtings.
You went so Yorkshire at the end.
Oh, lad, get on with it.
And he didn't even drop a mon anywhere in it.
Sorry, Marlock. Sorry, mon.
Fabulous. And Brian, we know Steel Saunders will be enjoying this, so could you give us a
yes. A former Jedi Knight, Ashoka Tano, captured one of Thrawn's allies and learned of a secret map which is vital to the enemy's plan. Ashoka now searches for the map as a prisoner. Morgan Elsbeth is transported to the New Republic for trial.
I'm going to confess.
Was that Australian?
No.
I'm sure that was Australian because my hackles rose on the back of my neck as a New Zealand.
Chamberlain's on the stress ball. I've got to admit, I paid no attention to that crawl when I first saw it. I paid no attention when you guys were doing the different accents, apart from Jordy doing his own accent. Does anyone want to make sense of it? I mean,
Well, I didn't mind the title crawl delivering us some exposition. While it's not unwelcome, it did look like it was created on Windows Movie Maker.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why we're calling it a crawl.
I've also got to query, how can you both be lost and in exile?
Oh, well.
Surely you're just lost.
Reference the Last
Lost
Jedi.
in space.
Unless you were sent to exile and then you got lost.
No,
the Soviets would send people to Siberia, but then you could run away and then you get lost in Siberia and thereby being lost in exile.
No, he was catapulted into hyperspace by a pod of Purgles.
Is it worth us actually setting this up now before the show begins? Because there are going to be references to this guy, and it's kind of important to understand it, but the show doesn't really do a huge amount. So the opening crawl is a huge exposition dump, which is not really the ideal way to start anything. If you compare it to like the original trilogy opening crawls, the amount of new nouns, new concepts, new places, new devices, I think there are many more of them in this opening crawl than they are in your traditional Star Wars thing. But it's the problem with having to pick up from 4 seasons of an animated show and try and leap straight into this one is that most of the audience doesn't have a clue what's going on. And yet still, the opening crawl doesn't really do a huge amount to fill you in on the more important details.
Yeah, I think a problem of the show, as we'll probably uncover as we go through, it is heavy on the old exposition, and maybe it's heavy on exposition while not really explaining anything very well. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it
For
all.
our purposes now, though, like Thrawn is the Imperial Grand Admiral, who, as far as I understand it, was teleported across the galaxy by whales in the end
Yes.
of Rebels,
Space whales.
along with some guy called Ezra, who will be
Yes.
referenced later.
Miller.
Possibly.
Fucking space whales.
Oh, Vex has just finished watching it.
Well, look, we can only go to one man. Z, what do you make of this rather sexy specimen?
Once you go black,
I got confused here because people were talking, not you guys. I mean, watching the show, and I think I only caught on afterwards. Is this a female protocol droid? Is that right, or was I confusing it with someone other female? There's so many damn females in the show.
it's a bit too early to be reinforcing gender stereotypes on droids, Master Ruin.
Well,
What besides the voice, what distinguishes a male droid from a female droid?
Don't ask Z that, for God's sake, don't ask Z that question.
Position of the USB port.
Is there a different interface?
Attachments.
did we get a name for this droid? A name, a number, of what do you call them?
He's
No.
got a number.
No. Okay. Well then, chat, it's over to you. We need a name for this droid, please. I think we already had a suggestion from who was it? Volk suggests it should be called Woke Droid, but I'm sure you've got lots of other suggestions. Meanwhile, we have got
chat.
hold on to your jock straps, man, babies. Access. Now, I could be getting more excited because I don't know how Czech money checks out to the English money, but it's several figures there. So we need this needs to be delivered flawlessly.
Gold-coloured.
So
Yeah.
for this
Z.
one, we're going to go to Z because only Z can deliver this one with the gusto required. Over to you, Z.
Access for 100 Monopoly monies says, when Sabine got stabbed in the chest, I was just repeating over and over the line from Spaceballs. Oh no, not again. If you are male without horns or don't have two stomachs, stay away from lightsabers.
Wise words.
Yes, very wise. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers for what happens later, but it happened again.
Obviously.
Lightsabers are just non-lethal weapons at this point.
Yes.
Well, this
No
is
one's
ever
ever
since
really
Disney
gone, man,
took over,
babies.
isn't it? Ever since Disney took over, because Cal Kestis survived being stabbed with a lightsaber in Jedi Fallen Order. Kylo
Yeah.
Ren survives being stabbed with a lightsaber in Rise of Skywalker. The Grand
Flesh wound.
Inquisitor survives being stabbed in Kenobi. And Reva survives being stabbed with a lightsaber twice. I tell you what, Qui Gon Jin must be fucking fuming.
I like the idea that he goes down in history as one of the only Jedi who actually dies having been stabbed by a lightsaber. That's what makes him notable.
Yeah.
Yes, I dropped a little tweet out or an X or whatever they call these days about a little meme with Qui-Gon looking
May
rather
I
pissed
say?
off.
May I say? Obviously,
Sure.
as I said, I'm not as good as you guys with the analysis, but straight away I recognise the white man bad. Straight away, he's going to get killed.
Yes. and
Straight
no.
away.
It's not though. This isn't the white man bad thing. So like all through Disney Star Wars, like the TV shows, they've been trying to play up this idea that the New Republic either isn't that dissimilar to the old Empire, or is lapsing into it. It's sort of replicating the worst features of the Ancien regime. So in The Mandalorian season 3, you have the scenes on Coruscant with the New Republic sort of being lapsed into bureaucracy and infiltrated by Empire people. The whole point they've been trying to push throughout is that the New Republic is becoming more like the Empire it tried to replace. And so this guy actually has a line where he says, get them to send over their, what's the line from Return of the Jedi when they're flying the shuttle towards Superstar Destroyer before they go down to Endor, and they ask for their clearance code, I think it is.
Yeah.
And he uses the same line in a very similar voice, and he sounds like an old Empire officer. And I think this is just another attempt that they're trying to play up, which is that actually the New Republic and the Empire are not very dissimilar at all, which is it's an interesting idea. It just deserves a much better show than we've got.
It's exactly the same as Return of the Jedi. It's a clearance code, and then it's an older code, but it checks out.
Yeah.
It's how many scenes or little snippets of scenes are copied from the OT and the prequel trilogy. But can I just?
Oh,
I've just been derailed here. Is that Lizzo in the background?
Yeah, I'm just looking at that fat shrimpy creature in the background. What is going on there?
Yes, that's Lizzo shouting some fat shaming one of her backing dancers through the tunnel there. Yeah,
When I first saw this scene, my natural reaction by now is if it's either men who are sort of over 50 who tend to be curmudgeonly and usually bearded, or you've got men under 30 who are kind of pussyish wastrels. Those are the two categories I have.
well, I've got to say that it just looks a bit Star Trekky. This is that fair, Brown? I mean, the vibes I got was a little bit Star Trekky from this scene. Was that offensive to
No.
Star Trek fans?
No, well, Star Trek is just as dead as this. So
Okay, that's
It's a bit of a Admiral Akbar. See, this actor here is Mark Ralston, who was in Aliens as Mark Drake, Hands in Lethal Weapon, and he was Steph, who is the officer who held up the better support striking officer in RoboCop 2.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't know
recognise
that.
him.
Those are deeper cuts than what Sabine took from the lightsaber.
Well, look, whoever said it about lots of references, lots of member berries, as we like to call them. I mean, it really was, trying to pull on the old arse berries from A New Hope, and even there was even a bit of referencing of Rogue One, I thought, in one scene. And and here we go, talking member berries. We've got what's this kind of shuttle, which.
Well, the one we're familiar with is the Lambda
Trillium?
shuttle, but it's
Yeah.
the same shape, but it's not the same shuttle. But it's quite obviously a bad guy shuttle, and we're very shortly to come to the bit where I got rather annoyed at this show 5 minutes in, because that's how far we are. So they're being approached by this shuttle, and the shuttle radios in a request to land, and they ask for the clearance code, and it turns out it's an old Jedi code because the Jedi had those, and they're still in operation. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway. You see an obviously evil shuttle, and you believe the people on it are obviously evil. What do you do as the commander of a brand new, top-of-the-line, sort of very expensive rebel capital ship? Do you keep them away until you can investigate them? Do you start shooting at them? Or do you say, you know what, I know they're obviously evil, but I'm going to invite them in to tell them how evil they are? Because
Exactly
that's what
what I
he
thought.
fucking
Exactly
does, the
what I thought.
absolute melon.
Let's give
And
them
lo
a
and
damn
behold, they
good
all
dressing
die.
down.
Bit of political foreshadowing here, though. So if you consider this this crusty old fart as Joe Biden, and then this is Kamala Harris just stepping up. So this is maybe about to happen in the real world, but
Yeah,
let's
I
not go
picked up
down
on that straight away.
Let's not get bogged down in that one. Brownie, I do feel like we missed the chance of some good line reading, but I'm sure there's more opportunities. So you're right
Yes,
to
plenty.
press the pace and. There we go. Well, we might as well do it, Brownie. You get a nice front-on shot, full frontal. Brownie, looking
If
at
you're
this
a
nice
woman,
lady,
you can make it.
trying to ignore the
The
Lizzo
ultimate
thing
message,
on the
by the way, is
right.
like you put the woman in charge, and within 5 minutes you've lost the ship. So that's the other way of looking at it.
Look at her badge in the front, showing her military rank and achievements.
I will say one thing. I mean, we're only like seconds in, and it's already painfully diverse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In the first 3 or 4 frames, unbelievable. But then you get the security guard. There's like 6 of them who look suspiciously like 6 out of shape, incredibly wimpy people you might find in casting in Los Angeles.
Or at a convention. Yeah, you're right.
It was ridiculous. One of the incompetence of the security team taken to take on 2 Jedi. I mean, it was only going to go one way. Go for it, Brian.
Super chat.
I like the front of this this VHS video recorder she's got there attached to a tumble dryer. It's very Star Wars episode 4.
I quite like her badge. It reminds me of one of Uncle Owen's stay stiff tablets, shall we say.
That's great. Yeah. You just take it off the front of them and do it like this. Great.
Yeah, handy.
20
very
minutes
handy.
later.
Bob's your uncle.
Yes.
Swappers, are you available to do your a super chat in Emperor Kipling, please?
I got wine in the check. Say, for two, whatever the fuck they are. Qui Gon died of an Qui Gon died of an anaphylactic reaction.
Oh, there you go. You just needed to do it quickly. It's like ripping off a plaster. Oh, we've just discovered gold. It's impossible to say the word anaphylactic in the style of Emperor Kipling. Brilliant work. Brian's cracked up over that one. We've also got Lofty Pixels. Jordy, why don't you do this one if you would, please?
I can. Hello, Lofty, for your $5. What's with white paper square badges with the circle stickers on their shirts? Lol. I agree. It's not the most impressive of medals. I do kind of wonder what it signifies. I have one bonus hole. Is that?
I think it's like, when you work at McDonald's and you get the badges with the stars on. I think that's what it's like. You get one of these dots every time you suck one of the generals off. I think that's how it works. But anyway, edit that part out, Brown. It will be okay.
Yeah, we'll get rid of that, don't worry.
Okay. So
It must be such a downer at the ceremony. Like, instead of getting, gold braided epaulets on your shoulders or a beautiful array of hanging medals, you just get a square with a dot on it.
Like the old nautical thing was, if you were given the black spot, that meant the pirates were going to come and kill you, which I suppose does kind of happen in this show, but I don't think that's what they were going for.
So we have a hangar scene, and we have this shuttle docking into the hangar scene, and there's our elite security team.
Member R2.
And we've got our old friend Common People in the chat who says, is Wade alive in this timeline for £2 real English pounds? Z, is Wade alive in this timeline?
I have no idea, sir.
Oh, even Z doesn't know. Sorry.
Did Ezra Bridger reach through the space whale vortex and pull him out of the timeline where he dies and into this one? So he could still be alive.
He could be within the world between worlds and still alive.
Oh, the Mando Verse. It's just.
Does Star Wars, whatever credibility Star Wars had left, was it lost when they started to go into timey-wimey?
I don't think it had a huge amount left even when they did that, but it's been on fumes for a while. Can we just reiterate how dumb this man is, though? Because I really do have to emphasize it. So his whole shtick is that he believes that these are just two. He uses the line in a moment. He believes that they're two Imperials who tried their luck, and then he called their bluff, and so now he's going to arrest them. They voluntarily flew at your capital ship, just two of them. You know they're bad. They know that you're not on their side. What mad person, if they were just bog standard Imperials, would voluntarily fly onto a ship to get arrested unless they're surrendering? That's obviously not what they're doing. They're obviously quite powerful and they want to be here. You don't invite them in. It's just baffling stupidity.
Can we just go back a couple of slides?
Absolutely. Swappers, I wanted to go back because, frankly, how ridiculous do these guys in the blue look, especially the Mon Calamarium in the helmet can barely fit on his stupid head.
Not only that, but his hands as well. His hands are just like flopping about at the side. It's like a bad LARP, isn't it? It's just, God, it's embarrassing. And the scene before this as well, Star Wars trope, everybody drink, right? Was it before or after? It's when they're coming out of the ship.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. The ozone destroying deodorant is being fired out the bottom of the ship. So you can't have a ship landing with bad guys walking out of it without that, can you? So there we go.
There is no context in which two figures emerging out of a ship like that with their faces hooded. There is no context in which that could be a positive situation.
Yes, it doesn't smack of here's the good guys, does it?
And what's worse as well is all of these guys, none of them have not even have a hand on their weapon. I mean, you think they'd all be like at least holding a weapon at this point. They don't know these guys from Adam. Like they could be just turning up, posing as Jedi and then just completely destroy the place, which they do.
But even then, there's a broader and deeper sort of world building problem here, because they receive this Jedi code, this old Jedi code, and that they accept that that is at least a valid thing to be receiving in this galaxy, where notably all the Jedi have been wiped out. The only Jedi that really is around, notably at this time, that anyone really knows about is Luke Skywalker. Two random people turning up claiming to be Jedi, the odds of them actually being Jedi are incredibly small.
Yeah.
But they do kind of treat it as a setup, as though that is the kind of thing that might happen. And it's annoying because we don't know anymore what the place of the Jedi in this timeline is. Because I know Dave Filoni has been spawning them as often as he puts pen to paper. A new Jedi somehow survives Order 66, which is annoying. But I don't think that this is, again, a believable setup. I think we need a very clear idea of like how big the Jedi Order is. And Luke's lack of involvement in this show completely as well is just bizarre, because he is the head of the Jedi Order and yet is completely uninvolved in all of the events in both The Mandalorian and this one, which actually matter for the fate of the galaxy. Why does Ahsoka not tell him she's looking for Thrawn, for example? Why isn't he involved in the rebuilding of the New Republic, seemingly? Why is he just pissing about on a planet training frogs? None of it makes any sense, and I really want it to, but it doesn't.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, Luke should be one of the most prominent characters mentioned, at least, in this, and they don't even refer to him once. This guy was the forefront of the rebellion, knocking back the Empire, and they don't even refer to him once, or any of the original trilogy characters. It's like they don't exist suddenly. What the hell's going on?
Swappers, you available for super chat, please?
How would you like it read, sir?
There's
a challenge. There's a challenge. Hang on a second. Let's not waste this opportunity, Brown. Swappers, could you do this in the style of a constipated Eskimo, please?
Right. Osman Socrates in the chat for $1.99. Get the Space Quails.
Fabulous. See, anything's possible.
Another super chat from Matta. Is it Matt? One for $2. Two whiteys cut down the Mon calamari.
Ooh, yeah, controversial.
Speciesist.
Brown, you're the token Star Trek expert here. If this was Next Generation, Picard would send someone down to deal with people, wouldn't he? He wouldn't go himself and then end up getting killed and then losing the captain of the ship.
Captain should stay on the bridge.
Right, of course.
Or is it
the way this little bit is filmed? It just feels like Filoni is completely Xeroxing George Lucas. We've got the start of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
We've got little bits from Return of the Jedi, including the Moff Jerjerrod scene. It even goes back to a little shot of was it Captain Hale looking towards him. It's just fucking.
If you showed this screen right here to anyone during when Rebels was on syndicated TV, they would have thought this was from a CGI show.
Swappers, just referencing back to your fabulous accent, Smilex says, sounds like you needed the igloo. Very good, Smilex.
Very good. Is there always?
Very good.
Although I do have to praise the New Republic for embracing the use of woks for helmets.
Yes.
Yeah, just like to say, like, how can they even see through those things? They remind me of those warriors from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the lampshade heads.
film.
Yeah, I mean, it is ridiculous though. Is it just me, or have they given the small helmet to the Mon Calamari and then the ridiculously oversized helmets to the pea-headed humans at the back? I don't know. Anyway, we've got another droid here. Z, who's this chap? RD3, and what the hell do they mean? Scan for identification. What's that all about?
I have absolutely no idea how you scan for identification. Surely you
I
just
can answer
produced
that.
it.
I think
Yeah,
I
okay.
know, because The
I do as
Mandalorian
well, I think.
introduced the idea that every single species, every single individual in the galaxy has something called a chain code.
Chain code.
This is the thing that allows those very useful tracking fobs to work in season 1 that we never see after season 1. Everyone has a chain code. But then you have to ask, well, if the Empire made everyone get a chain code, how the hell did the rebels exist? Because they can scan them from the opposite side of the galaxy and know where they are. And there's a train in The Mandalorian season 3 that can instantly identify this Mandalorian who's never had any contact with the Empire. So the whole concept is bullshit. However, I think that's what they're referencing here.
Atom Gray comes up with the solution there. You should always write your name inside your helmet. And that works both for the helmet on your head and the helmet in your pants, man, baby. So there we go.
I was expecting him to go, "You don't need to see my identification." And just
Yeah, missed opportunity. But look, I do need to try and give some credit where it's due because I don't know much about this guy. I believe he may have voice acted in the animation. We do know he sadly did pass away, but all said and done, I think he's a good actor, played a good part. He has a presence.
Oh yeah.
I actually enjoyed his performance on this episode. So yeah, is that a fair point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
would like more of
we
him.
like this guy. Ray Stevenson, I believe, that's the name, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
From Rome,
What else
right?
he
That
done?
He was in Rome, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah,
One
he
of
was.
the one of the soldiers. Yeah, he was great. It's got that interesting thing because it's very minimalist, but at the same time, you're always speculating about what he might be thinking. So I think he did a good job.
And while we've got you there, Echo, could you do this super chat from Jonathan Frost, please?
Well, Jonathan Frost for $5. The Mon Calamari can see both the right and the left wall, but not in front of him. So it went from plural to singular.
True.
No, it's still
it is a flaw, isn't it? Anything straight down the line, he's going to struggle. He's not ideal. Maybe that's why they're better suited to flying ships and not security detail work. We have got another super chat, and it's from Rebecca Gold, but I think we know who it really is. So
Drink, everybody.
we don't have Brian, so I'm going to go to our secondary accent expert. In fact, Brownie, we're going to go to you. You can pull this one off in the style of Mega Geek. Can you do this, please?
It's shit.
There you go. It's like the spirit of Mega Geek lives
Mom.
on. There we go. So we are then, no sooner do we get a bit of Ray Stevenson, we're introduced to another
if I may,
woman.
sorry, Ruin. If I may, obviously I was doing the subtitles, but the subtitles with the description, believe it or not, was actually funnier or more interesting that was going on. So I left some of the more amusing descriptions in because, quite frankly, the subtitle descriptions were the best thing about this program. Moving on.
I quite like the use of the orange blades aesthetic that they've got going on there. It's like a corrupted but not fully bled kyber crystal. So it's not red like a Sith lightsaber.
Oh,
but it's getting there.
Nice.
'Cause
Okay.
these people aren't Sith, are they? They are something else. Are they in the cartoons? Do they have provenance before this show, or are they this show's creation?
I think they're this show's creation. I've not seen Fallen Jedi before.
Do you think Filoni's smart enough to use that as a gimmick? The idea of it being not quite red, so there's some redemption arc in there, or do you think it's just a total fluke? My money's on fluke.
Yeah,
I can believe it was deliberate, just to convey that they are evil but not Sith. But no idea.
Action Figure
how did this,
Academy. Apologies, Echo. Is that you? Go for it, man.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how did this woman get so quickly from driving an armored truck down the Spanish Steps in Rome and fighting Tom Cruise in an alleyway in Venice to this universe? How did she travel that quickly?
Well, galactic is possible now, according to this episode.
It's amazing what women can do in this world now.
One,
Action
by the way.
Figure.
It's the Space Whales again.
Thanks, Brian.
Space Whales answer all timeline questions. She just reached in and pulled her out of Tom Cruise's film and put her in here.
Right.
It's not
Action
the same.
Figure
It's not the same
Academy.
person, though. It's not the same actor.
Really?
Yeah, but you seem to take every single unblinking,
They've got the aesthetic,
unsettling
yeah.
expression,
Yeah.
and transfer
Fit.
it over.
She's Russian, apparently. Fit.
And by
reminds
the
me-
end of the first two episodes, I'm pretty convinced that she's paid by the word. Doesn't actually say much.
Hope she was paid a lot per word. Action Figure Academy actually underlines that point. He, she, they, them says probably the only character that wasn't annoying. She didn't talk much, and that helped. So fair comment. Whoops, did I just?
No, then there's me. There you go.
Okay.
Super chat.
There we go. There we go. Let's get Brian on this one, if you would please, Brian.
Houseman Socrates for $4.99 says, they are dark Jedi subservient to the Sith, the main lightsaber-wielding enemies you face in Knights of the Old Republic.
I can't tell if I want to believe that's true, because Knights of the Old Republic is like 2,000 years ago, and we don't really see them in the intervening period. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing on that idea, but I think the idea that, yeah, there've been this race of dark Jedi around who've only appeared twice in Star Wars canon, once 2,000 years ago in KOTOR, and now here in the Ahsoka show is a bit of a stretch. I like the idea, though. Fallen Jedi is an interesting concept. It's just, I really don't think they're going to flesh them out very well, which will be very annoying.
The episode is called Master and an Apprentice, which presumably is Sabine and Ashoka and these two.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Sith all the way.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm also, look, I'm going to play devil's advocate. You know, I like to subvert expectations. I didn't think this was a bad opening. I know it had its flaws. I know it was very referential in terms of, you know, dropping the member berries and so on. But it introduced the characters. It gave us and albeit a bit of a cliched opening scene for the bad guys, but we had some decent action. Okay, we chopped down some pointless security detail, but all in all, it wasn't the worst starting to the series.
This is my least favorite part of the two episodes combined. So I might disagree on that one.
Subverted.
What got me about it was
never watch my movie in that case.
When as Best Test Ever just said, discount Scarlett Johansson said, well, she just walked past and then she ignites a lightsaber and then kind of waits for a second before attacking anybody. So during that whole second, the guards that should have already had their hands on their guns could have taken her out or at least blasted her in resistance. But no, there's this whole like period of time of reaction time when she could have been handled.
Was that bad editing?
I just think it's bad planning generally.
No, military strategy is always going to be secondary to looking impressive.
Brownie, if you only ever let me read one super chat for the rest of my pitiful life, please let it be this one.
Who would like to read a super chat from Obi-Wan Darkside?
Oh yes, please, Mr. Zarkon, yes.
No, I think you need to be rested for a moment, my friend. Ruin, are you available?
Yes. Okay, here we go. Obi-Wan Darkside for €5 says, "Here I go again on my own, going down a Star Wars hell I've never known. Like Filoni, I was born to fillet alone." Thank you, Obi-Wan. I enjoyed that. I only wish there was more lyrics.
While you're up, mate, do you want to do this?
We'll keep going. I want to almost keep singing it, but don't think it suits the tune. More fun than watching Kenobi trade for meat, at any rate. But it's a poor imitation of BioWare's The Old Republic trailers. Yeah, we forget how
Ceteris
awful Obi-Wan
Parabolus
was.
for $5.
Appreciate you, Ceteris. Thank you. Okay, look, I think Smilex said he liked the opening. Jordy obviously didn't, but we've got to get through it nevertheless. We have someone impaled now.
See, I saw this. I saw this straight away and thought, it'll be fine. It's fine.
Flesh wound. Mere flesh wound, yeah.
That's how I feel.
Stabbed through the shoulder there, and apparently being stabbed through the shoulder is much more lethal than being stabbed through the stomach, famously.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Nobody cares about him, all right?
That's how I feel physically, just thinking about Dave Filoni self-deleting.
I just thought kill the toxic white male. Get him out of the way. Get him,
But he was an idiot. He deserved to die. That's the thing I don't like about it. I think some of the action sequence here is quite good.
The patriarchy, they're all idiots, aren't they?
Get rid of Whitey.
Bye,
Brownie,
Whitey.
there's a meme. There's a meme here, Brownie. If you're the old guy there getting impaled, and that's YouTube on the right demonetizing one of your streams, it's often how it goes for you.
Perhaps
isn't it?
that's a metaphor for me.
Yeah, stabbed him right through his Viagra double pack.
Oh no! Maybe that's what saved him. I don't know.
couldn't-
Anyway, nice reverse shot. Two bad guys.
I couldn't concentrate on the logic or lack of logic in this scene for Ray Stevenson's shoulder pads. It's like Kenny Everett's US General from the 80s.
Oh, there's a wonderful reference for man babies of a certain age. Very good, Brian. So meanwhile, they're having a disco in the captain's lounge here. I don't know what's going on with the lighting, but they're getting down with it.
And they've done absolutely nothing to even try to secure the bridge, even though they know there were people on the ship trying to blow it up. Nothing. They didn't shut down the elevator. They didn't try and lock the door. They've just been sitting there waiting to be killed.
Is it because a woman's in charge now?
Probably.
Did you notice the line they're heading for the detention level?
Oh, really?
Ripped from A New Hope. A New Hope, Star Wars 1977.
Where's Squat Lizzo gone?
Yeah,
Looked at
so that's
Canteen.
that.
My money's in the canteen.
Well, it's the canteen or the shitter, one or the other. She's normally, kind of goes cycles, doesn't it? Anyway, here we go. There's this little tidy blonde piece. Scarlett Johansson. I don't know why, but she reminded me a little bit of is it Daryl Hannah in Blade Runner? I don't know why I was getting that vibe, but I was getting a bit of that.
Dyed
Yeah,
blonde.
the eyeshadow.
Maybe.
She actually reminds another 80s reference coming in thick and fast. She reminds me of like Glynis Barber and Dempsey and Makepeace.
Yes.
What a
Track
shout!
through a hedge
Yes.
Yes, Brian. Yes. Oh, I'd buy that for $1. I tell you, that's I'm gonna have to calm down after that
So
one.
they're
That
all
was
coming in. Look,
one
all
of
coming in
my
hot.
Can I make a request?
Go
That
for
we'll
it.
go home.
Punchable Face has Rachel Ziegler as his avatar. Can I request that he puts it back to his original pick? Because it just goes fantastic. Or change it to Brian Young for the Punchable Face.
Oh, the punchable face. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, we do miss the original, the OG punchable face.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure Jordy's getting bored of us all gagging over this lady. So let's switch to the other one, the one-star general here, and she doesn't have a lot of luck, does she? With
Blasters firing,
Blaster,
lightsaber.
You can do a
whooshing.
bit of Evelyn whooshing. Come on, that's not good
The
enough.
lightsabers don't really whoosh, do they?
Well, they do
Surely
now.
were at the very least. Come on.
How do you spell zoom?
I was going to say.
Not like that.
I was going to say it's more of a less the zoom and more of a wum, but then the force is female, so
well, that's it's not your finest moment, Brown, but we won't dwell on
Effect
that
shot,
one.
trust me.
Meanwhile,
and
we go back to Rogue One, and we have Darth Vader mowing down the rebel soldiers here, and it really did remind me of Rogue One. This march along the corridor.
Multiple blasters firing.
Yep. Even in his movements, it was very Darth Vader-like. But
Yes.
It's the Vader hallway scene, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a bit coming up where he just holds his lightsaber flat out in front of him and they all obligingly fire probably 25 rounds directly at the lightsaber. He doesn't really even need to block. They aim for the lightsaber because they're stupid.
But,
remember.
yeah. Oh
He's
yeah, and
slightly-
he even does the force choke and lifts someone up and
Autoerotic
yeah.
asphyxiation, folks.
His movements are slightly stilted here. It's probably estrogen poisoning.
Jeez.
Can we get Z to do this super chat for us, please, Z?
Of course, Nikki Relihan in the chat for £5 which is real money. You would think some military in Star Wars would develop tactics against lightsabers instead of shooting straight at them. Yes,
That's a
like
good
sealing the doors and ejecting the entire section into space.
it's
Yeah.
like,
for the clone
shooting at every part of the Mandalorian that's wearing Beskar armor, but the bits that are vulnerable.
This bit I both liked and hated. You see Balin's skull here using some kind of Jedi unlock power, which is super effective. And it's a little lesson in trickery that Ahsoka doesn't bother to think of even trying when she's got to lock something in her hand not 5 minutes from now.
So the member berries, the references just keep going here. This, I guess, referencing the Leia prison scene,
Yes.
and yep, she's got the handcuffs that they tried to fit around Chewie. I mean, it's really they're going right down the tick box of Star Wars references, aren't they? And have we ever seen this used before? The remote unlocking of something.
Your binders,
Obi-Wan-
you won't need them.
I remember.
Yeah.
The Emperor does it in Return of the Jedi, for God's sake.
Yes, of course.
And
Just
you
testing
remember
you,
her
just
from
testing.
Mandalorian season 2, chapter 13, the Jedi.
No.
Oh,
She
is
was
that
the one with
her?
the
That's her.
Beskar spear,
right.
yes. who
Was that
fought
her? I was wondering
Ahsoka.
if that was her.
Wait, in this one,
course.
isn't she? This one, she's something to do with the Night Sisters. I don't think she has
It wasn't,
anything.
no, it wasn't mentioned in the previous episode, but
They just decided since the fact that actually she's something to do with the Night Sisters.
well, I think because Ahsoka took her into custody, she's been on this ship ever since she was arrested,
Oh yeah,
which is over a year ago.
Is there an accompanying novelization of what you need to know about this?
No, there's 11 seasons of animated fuckery that you have to go and look at.
I just get the
Thank
feeling
God.
if you put a pair of glasses on her, she'd look like Katie Hopkins.
I don't know if that
But
makes it better. Or...
cross-eyed. Swappers, is Emperor Kipling available?
Nikki Lelehan in the chat for 2 English pounds. Says, he's like Count Dooku on steroids.
He is indeed. Yeah.
Oh, he is a bit. He is a bit.
Yeah, it's a good shout, that Nicky.
He looks great. He's got some serious screen presence.
He's got some serious shoulders on the man. Jesus, I mean,
He is the best thing about this show, without a doubt.
he's he must like doing the old Arnold presses at the gym. That's all I can say. Is he a man of? Look at those shoulder pads. I mean,
Christ.
holy shit!
Yowza.
Yeah. Is this guy renowned for his stature? He looks incredibly tall and wide. Does anyone know? I'm sure someone can find out, either Man Baby in the chat or a retrobate. But he looked giant throughout this whole episode.
Yeah.
She looks like a semi-retired Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and that's it. So thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you had a good time. Episode 1. No, sadly, that's just the opening credits. Oh, don't worry,
There you go.
pal.
Hour 12 minutes to get to the opening credit.
We're gonna go through this pain together. Don't worry. So part 1. Let's get started, everyone. Master and Apprentice. Okay, Jordy. You didn't like the opening, so I assume you maybe like this part a little more. So why don't you talk us through this?
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't reach that level of stupidity again for at least 10 minutes. So this bit's marginally better. Except that it's bad in a different way. So she's going to this planet we don't know the name of, to a temple we don't know the provenance of, to look for a magical testicle that will point the way to Grand Admiral Thrawn, because that's who she's looking for, and this is how she goes to find him. There are a lot of problems with this. Obviously, it's just bog standard mystery box J.J. Abrams stuff. It basically mirrors the beginning of The Force Awakens. But the other one is like the timeline question again, which is like, how and where is this in relation to The Mandalorian? Because in season 2 of The Mandalorian, she's already looking for Thrawn. In season 3 of The Mandalorian, all of the Empire and the Shadow Council know of Thrawn, know where he is, and know he's definitely coming back. So if this is before then they can't possibly have been communicating with him, because this setup is that he's miles away in a different galaxy. But if it's after then it can't exist, because Thrawn can't be miles away and in a different galaxy. In other words, it doesn't really, as far as I can work out, tie in with the events of The Mandalorian. I think this is set slightly before Mando season 3. So Mando seasons 1 and 2 is it 7 ABY? Mando season 3 is 11 ABY, and then I think this is well, all we're given to we're actually told explicitly later on that this is several years after the fall of the Empire, but not exactly how many. So I don't really know how the two seasons fit together, but the proximate problem is that it's just a mystery box to point the location to someone who can't really have been involved in the creation of the thing that's pointing people to him. So fuck knows if that will ever make sense. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
I really hated this scene. I mean, Ahsoka has to solve what is essentially a video game puzzle, which looks like it was wholesale stolen straight out of Tomb Raider or Uncharted. And the ridiculous mechanic in this, it really does feel very PS3.
Go on, Brian.
It's a very perfect sphere. Perhaps you could do a little portrait of Ruin Johnson at some point.
Oh, how dare you! How dare you! Yeah, what I was going to ask, and Brian, maybe you could, while you're putting the boot in, what do you make of this method of basically accessing the I don't know, under the floor, essentially?
I'm trying desperately not to use the word bollocks, but I'm afraid that's not like that. As he said, or was it Swappers that said it's very computer game-esque. I don't like it one bit.
Question
when you think about it.
So go on, Zee. Go
on. She's actually going to get that star map with the location of Grand Admiral Thrawn. We're talking some Rise of Skywalker Blade Javucci levels of bullshit here. This basically says somebody knows where Thrawn is, programmed it onto that map, and then compressed it in a block of coffee grounds, concealed it in a secret temple trap, which Ahsoka had to cut through solid rock with lightsabers to get at.
And she also had to scan the temple in order to get the layout that gives the code to unlock the box, right? So kind of lucky that they thought to do that at any given point before the temple's about to get exploded, but before that happens. And yeah, again, I can't help but remember, because I've just finished off the second part of the Mandalorian review. There's a bit in that where Moff Gideon tells everyone that, you know, his job is to listen to rumors, and he listens to rumors from all across the galaxy, and no one ever mentions Thrawn ever. No one knows about him, and yet someone must have done, because, well, here we are. I don't think that these people are actually talking to each other when they're making their scripts.
While looking incredibly smug as well. Let's not forget.
Brownie, while I've got you...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'll come straight back to you, Echo. But Brownie, I must bring your attention to Obi-Wan Darkside's super chat with a very pertinent question.
Okay, I do feel I need to sort some merch out. Okay, leave it with me, peeps.
Brownie, I've got a veritable wardrobe I've been suggesting to you. We need Bogged Down t-shirts. We need Look at That t-shirts. We need Mega Geeks.
Baits.
This is shit. We need retro baits. I mean, come on, man.
Can you do a quadruple XL shirt and just put a picture of Lizzo's face on it?
Oh, well.
Available
with a banana
only
motif.
XL, yeah.
So Ahsoka, I mean, she's our little orange-faced friend. She goes underground. I have to confess, we were talking in the green room, I think, and both Brian and I confessed to falling asleep at various stages of this episode. And this is the part where my eyes started getting a bit heavy. It all really just slowed down, and I don't know, it felt like something out of a deleted scene from Indiana Jones or something. I don't know, but I don't know. Sorry, Echo, we want to bring you back in, if I could, please.
Yeah, I like the idea of mysticism and the occult in Star Wars if it's done well. I think it's a great dynamic they can add to it. To your point, Platoon, there was like a cool scene a little bit later on where this governor is giving this big speech, and I love how they just hedge on where the timeline is. He just says, we celebrate the fall of the Empire a few years ago. That's
several years ago.
Yeah.
Because when I first listened to that, I thought, did he say 7? Well, that's really helpful. Yeah. And I listened to it again, and no, he didn't. That's really not helpful at all.
Yeah, and the other thing is, this is eerily and almost weirdly like the initial setup for Rings of Power. You've got little Galadriel here, who is on the trail of some horrible evil figure who everyone assumes is dead, and she's the only one who's really trying to think that, she can maybe find out if he's still out there and might be plotting a comeback. So it's just the whole setup to Rings of Power.
It is. Good point. I hadn't spotted that.
Jordy, while we've got you, sir, could you do Padawan's contribution, please?
Yes, Padawan for 5 reals of some kind. I hope Ahsoka dies in this show. Please end this pain.
Yowza.
Well, she should have died a long, long time ago. There's a bit, as far as I understand it, because I've seen little bits and like clips of Rebels and the Clone Wars. There is a bit in Rebels, I think, where she's fighting Vader, and the implication is that is when she dies, and that is when she should have died. But no, because Filoni has a hard-on for this orange tentacle woman, and so here she is somehow.
Thudding.
This bit was just so painfully slow. I mean, Better Call Saul can be slow, and it really gets inside the mind of the characters. The same way, kind of brooding. There's a lot of brooding scenes in this one, but Better Call Saul does it in a very kind of artistic, traditional filmmaking way. The camera isn't static the same way as it is here, and time doesn't really stand still the way it does here.
I think that extends to the rest of the show as well, doesn't it? I noticed that.
I mean, Better Call Saul's a masterclass in that kind of thing, but here it's just amateur hour, isn't it?
Filoni's just cracking one off while he's doing these. That's all it is. He's
Someone
just
said
there,
it's the Fifth Element
himself.
ripoff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. 100%. But you could have just at least had some Indiana Jones kind of like moody lighting and something, or some low menacing music. But no, it's just like static shots.
Maybe some traps to
Geek
get
would be
past.
on.
Let her show her skills and let her go through some traps and actually fight or get her way into the temple, not against enemies but against the environment. And then we see her skills, and we're sort of more effectively reintroduced to a character that a huge part of the audience has no familiarity with whatever.
We have got some low scraping. What do you want? What do you want?
Low scraping. What is low scraping as opposed to any other kind of like medium scraping?
No, that's the quality of the writing.
Z, are you available for this contribution, please?
I am. Lucasfilm Girl says, Ahsoka and Sabine are so fucking annoying and unlikable that I was rooting for the bad guys.
Ooh, right. Well, that shows you whether you're hitting the right spots when everyone's rooting against the main characters. But there we go. And yes, anyway, back to Tomb Raider or wherever watching at the moment.
That looks like one of those sweets, what you get at Christmas. The box of sweets selection, like dairy milk or
tray.
Yeah,
milk tray. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All those
Crack the
fancy
milk tray.
Guylian chocolates, if that's how you pronounce it. Can't remember.
Oh, they're magic, like a little bit of galleon.
It speaks to how engrossing the scene is, though, when you look at it and you think, I really want some chocolate. I'm going to go and get some chocolate now. Then you get back and find that nothing is actually developed in the show.
Yeah, Terry's all gold. Yeah, here you go, Tom. Well done, Tom.
Terry's all gold, right?
Yeah.
This is literally one of the moments I fell asleep and got back up 30 seconds later and
We
missed.
didn't miss anything, mate.
Hee-haw.
It's true. It's so boring. Howie Jewett just mentioned what we've all been saying as well, how boring and flat it is, and the angles just aren't there. Everything's just side-on views, and the lighting.
Filoni's creaming himself, isn't he? Watching it.
I suppose it was just blind luck that she cut herself into the room, not on top of the raising pillar.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
yeah, that could have ended the series pretty.
All the little Disney stands are being, oh my god, it's so amazing! Oh my god, it's so fantastic! Oh, look at that!
Oh my god, live action Chopper! Oh my god, it's exactly the same.
Oh look, she's got the golden snitch. 30 points to Gryffindor.
I think you'll find it's 150 points actually for catching the golden snitch.
This is a petanque ball. What's so special about
it? But if we'd been with this character for, say, a couple of films, and we'd seen her be a badass, and we'd seen her go through emotional stakes and everything else, then we'd quite like this kind of subdued, ironical manner that she's got. But if we're just being introduced to this character and she has those characteristics, who cares?
Oh, Wang, that's the David Tennant robot.
Z would have known that straight away because I think he was originally in Rebels, wasn't he?
He was actually originally in the Clone Wars. He's one of the professors who taught initiates of the Jedi Order to construct their lightsabers, which I believe he drops that little gem later in the episode.
I remember that. Yeah.
Z, you available?
Yes, Padawan for 5 somethings says, this dream scene feels like something Cal Kestis would do in Jedi Fallen Order.
It does, except that would have been earned because you begin with Cal Kestis at pretty much the beginning of his journey, and you're following his quest and you understand what you're doing. There's nothing that the thing references that you don't get the point of. There's no villains that you will never learn about. Like, this is This is so everything about this is unearned. I think it assumes that it's earned its way because of all of the animated series, but actually it really hasn't. It's paying off a huge amount that no one is familiar with. And like every single time I see anything new in this show, like these assassin droids, for example, I think, is that a thing? Does she know these people from the animated show? I don't know if she does, but they're really shit, whatever they are.
Jordy, while we've got you as our member of the LGBT community, could you read this contribution from John, please?
I resigned from that community. It gave me a stomachache. But from John,
she does.
She acts like a bull-dyke lesbian. Yeah, I've seen some things.
Why has she got a cat sat on her head? Anybody know, or is it me?
Oh, I don't know.
Why has she got bag puss sat on her head?
Does she take that off when she goes to bed, or what? Is it? Does she have to? Like people like Rastafarians. Is there a load of hair inside?
No.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Z knows the answer to this.
I would love it if her Leko were just a hat. That would be amazing.
She was completely bald. She had this tiny bald orange head. Whenever she went to bed, she just took it off, and there's like a little stand that she puts it on.
Tom, it's bag puss,
bag puss.
She cut the underside of a zebra off and then just stuck it on here, I think.
Zebra's cock.
In the chat.
Says.
So here we go. Some more droids for her to chop to smithereens. But my favorite part about these droids was that they had the explosive ability of several nuclear bombs. We're about to see that shortly, but that came out of nowhere, didn't it?
It took the duration of the Manhattan Project for them to actually go off.
I thought that as well.
Why are they even doing that? They need this map thing. Let's say that she tripped and fell over when she's running away from the giant explosion and she got caught up in it and the map was destroyed. Everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
Why are they trying to destroy the thing they really, really need? That's why they're here.
Because it looks so amazing.
I just do not understand the self-destruct thing. I just can't.
No, it was crazy. But this is the bit that really pissed me off now. It was a small point, but to me, this sums up Disney Star Wars in how they spoon feed the audience. So we already know she's done the pirouette earlier on. She's created a hole in the ground, which she's dropped into. The encircler. Now, did they really need this shot? Did they really need this shot to show us? Remember, there's a hole in the ground, everyone. And then in the next scene, obviously, she drops into said hole. This shot annoyed me probably way more than most people, but I just think it was a classic example of Disney spoon feeding the audience and taking them, hand-holding them through it.
You're annoyed because you didn't think of anything like that in The Last Jedi.
Damn it! I know. But
the CGI is terrible. Like everything looks like they're floating. It doesn't look like the proportions are right. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very CGI-tastic. This. What do we make of these droid things, Z? Crock of shit, I think. But what do you think?
Well, firstly, their reaction time is bog rough. They literally wait for her to do a zero. None of them jump back and go, "No, let's not do that." Secondly, when they've got the self-destructs, why have they got such a long timer on it?
Yeah.
Everything at Disney Star Wars seems to have this problem. Remember the Praetorian Guards in The Last Jedi after Snoke is struck down? It's literally 13 seconds before they decide to put their pot noodles down and get into it.
Well, there's the other bit, because I'm hung up on this because I just finished the script yesterday, but there's the bit in Mando Season 3 where Mando goes through the corridor and destroys all of Moff Gideon's clones. And only after he's done that, in the other side of the corridor, does Moff Gideon just walk out and say, "How dare you destroy all my clones?" And I'm thinking, well, why didn't you try and stop him? And why are your Praetorian Guards not guarding things? What are you doing? But yes, that will be out in a few weeks.
Ruin, if I may, if we do episode 2 of this,
if
Lucasfilm girl to come on the show, what do you think as a challenge? Do you think we should get her on?
I'll try my damnness. She's an introvert, as I often tell you. So she's.
I think it's about time, don't you?
What to change her personality?
Moving on.
I'll do my best, Brown. I'll do her. She is in the chat though. And
Go on,
hello to-
Lucasfilm girl. Go on. You'll have a great time.
See, I keep telling you, they keep pressuring me to get you on. Anyway, back to this orange bitch. So she's
Whooshing.
fighting off these droid things, and obviously makes mincemeat. What do we think of her fighting technique, Swappers? Impressed or underwhelmed?
It was all right. I mean, it's like all of the fight scenes in this episode and the one that came after it. I was just watching them thinking it all looks so sort of very by the motions, and it's got, you can tell they didn't have, I can't remember the guy's name now, that the guy that coordinated the fights in the prequels, absolutely amazing. The fights in the prequels, especially episode 1, were just incredible to watch. It might be actually, dynamic, like kinetic and sharp and fast and just vibrant, and everything seems kind of stilted in this. Surely they could have got, I mean, it's probably Filoni's direction. I think he did direct it, didn't he? I'm not sure.
Ray Park is Darth Maul,
Yeah.
and Dick, and I said Dick Gallard. Nick Gallard was the choreographer.
Gallard,
Oh,
thank
okay.
you. Yeah. He was amazing at the choreography, and they obviously didn't have anyone of that caliber working on this, because everything just looks like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to slow everything down because the general IQ of Disney Plus viewers just so low that they can't comprehend anything that's too fast. But I don't know, it just, every scene just seemed to drag a bit to me. That wasn't, it wasn't visceral enough for me.
We would not take the piss, by the way.
Well, we would, but not out of you.
Not at first.
I speak for yourself, Brown. I mean,
Not at first.
First of all,
we-
these droids having capes looks kind of weird and lame. And also, if the Imperial probe droid in Empire Strikes Back had this kind of self-destruct mechanism, they could have destroyed the whole Rebel Alliance then and there.
yes,
Droids in Revenge of the Sith.
Droid.
It's Droids in Revenge of the Sith with capes as well.
planet killing power they've got here, isn't it? So
Yeah, what happened to all these self-destructing droids in the sequel tragedy? They could have just plonked one of those on board the Supremacy and The Last Jedi and taken the whole thing out, couldn't they?
The sequel tragedy was one big self-destruct button.
So they go into this kind of kneel down pose, don't they? And I don't know, Z, can you talk us through this? I mean, how are they packing so much firepower in a fairly diminutive body? What's going on?
I have no idea, but they've really fucked up in their mission, haven't they? They were sent there to get the golden snitch, obviously defeated by Ahsoka, so they decided to self-destruct and attempt to destroy her and the golden snitch in the process. Had they actually succeeded, the story would have immediately ended.
Yeah.
And my question for Echo Chamberlain is, let me just get back to the slide. There it is. Who would win in a 100-meter dash, Ahsoka or young Leia?
Well, there's no obstacles. There's no obstacles to stop anyone chasing Leia. But I think probably Leia, because she seems to defy all natural order of the universe and gravity and everything. So I imagine she can just go through it.
Well, she has that special ability that allows the camera to cut and then the pursuer to be placed immediately behind her again. So as soon as Ahsoka overtook, there'd be a cut and she'd be behind. So there's no way that they could lose.
Yeah, it would have been pretty epic if Ahsoka had been rescued by a different member of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Very good.
There's the fact that Rey could have outrun anyone and everyone as well, judging by her performance in The Last Jedi. I mean, she ran across the beach at supersonic speed, but unfortunately, Ahsoka didn't learn that skill. So,
well, I mean, Rey almost outran Kylo Ren's spaceship, didn't she? I mean, and then she somersaulted over it. So, look, I could talk about Rey all night. But,
Let's not get bogged down.
Let's not get bogged down in the Rey. So, running away from an explosion, we've never seen that in a movie before, have we?
No.
But obviously, she escapes just in the nick of time. Wonderful, jumping on the platform again, another slight trope.
This is where the audio descriptions start to get amusing now. It was the only thing that was keeping me going
Strange.
at this point.
What do we make of this? I mean, is this live from somewhere with the wildfires?
Canada.
Yeah, could be.
Global
Was that the guy
boiling,
writing?
everybody.
Was that the guy writing the annotations describing his experience, like straining exactly what he's trying to come up with for words and things?
How would those
better.
droids destroying themselves create a firestorm that big?
Yeah.
I
Well,
have no idea.
No, it just seems completely out of scale, doesn't it? Now, from one of the small things that irritated me to another small thing which irritated me, which was this fucking droid and what the fact it was blinking. I mean, let me go to
Yeah.
someone who has some knowledge of anatomy and how the human body works. Lord Chord, can you explain, Chordy, for context, why humans blink?
Why humans blink?
Why humans blink? Yes.
It's to keep the eye hydrated and to make sure that there's
Yes.
no bits and pieces of grit and stuff that can get into them. I think there's probably other reasons, but those are two important ones.
Good
There
job.
we go. I knew you'd do yourself justice there, Jordy. So why the fuck does a droid need to blink, flash its
I
eyes
was thinking-
electronically to blink?
I was saying that. Yeah, I was saying that as well.
I will say eyelids are also great for when you want to go to sleep. Quite handy. Moving on.
Well,
Especially
yeah,
this show.
we was talking specifically blinking though, which if you try and blink
Well,
yourself
it's a
to
long
sleep, Brown,
blink, isn't it? It's like an 8-hour blink.
Oh, is that really? Is that what we're
Look, Ahsoka's emoting. Oh my god.
Oh, she just looks like a throughout this. She just looks like a cat who's just got the cream throughout, and it's just no. Or a man, or the male equivalent, a man who, like a dog with two dicks. Should I say?
Well, we're pestering Z. Can I just ask Z a question?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, of course.
If he knows it, Ashoka's short blade, Oberyn Martell, that's Pedro Pascal's character in Game of Thrones, says use a short weapon in close quarters. But why does Ahsoka have a short blade and one long one?
Honestly, I don't know. They did the Tales of the Jedi where her second lightsaber was introduced, and Anakin Skywalker taught her how to use it, presumably in preparation for Order 66 with his foresight and all that. But I don't know why she adopted the second one. There's I'm sure there's a reason for it somewhere.
Influence, because I know like Filoni and George Lucas both take sort of inspiration from the samurai, and there is a shorter version of the katana called a tanto, which I think that would probably be vaguely resembling. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just pinched the idea from there. But why she uses it, I don't know.
It was very similar to Romans because they usually had a long sword and a dagger on their belts. So
yeah, nice.
Terrific race of Romans.
So this
had another question.
this robot is a perfect mixture of the robot from the Jetsons cartoon combined with Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. A bit
Is
of
this
the
robot in Rebels at all? Is this like a long established sidekick?
it is a long established character. Well, I'll say long established. I think it's been in a total of 3 episodes.
Oh, good.
Right.
But yes, he's an established character and was previously voiced by David Tennant as well.
Okay. A bit of the I got a bit of like the Maximus helmet from Gladiator, like a goofy version of it as well. I don't know. Anyway, Gavin Blackburn.
Robotic Fu Manchu as well.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Gavin Blackburn, thank you for your super sticker. Don't know what it is, but you always like to throw one in, so we appreciate it. And also a question for Zee-ThreePIO. Jaden Smith Eyes says, does Zee-ThreePIO blink to windshield wiper away Uncle Owen's splooge?
No, not at all. I use one of those Loth cats that you see with Sabine Wren very shortly. They're very absorbent.
Anyway, back to this bland, boring arse orange lady. What's she talking about now? Jordy, bring us up
They're
to speed.
filling in. They're just trying to fill in some backstory and again catch people up with. This is not one of the more objectionable exposition dumps, but it is quite an exposition dump. But it's sort of reintroducing these two characters and their relationships, trying to get the audience on side with the idea that they've been working together for a long time and they used to do missions together. For some reason, the droid insists on staying at a safe distance as mandated by Jedi mission order protocols. And then she complains that was too far away, so they lost communication, which means that it was a really shit protocol and it's no wonder the Jedi died. However, there's also another problem because she now explains that the Jedi Order is gone. In other words, the Order doesn't exist, so why are you still following the rules? But since the Order is gone, then why the hell did the guy earlier, who I'm not going to drop, by the way, because he really annoyed me, why did he let 2 people on the ship because they said they were Jedi? The Order's dead. Everyone knows it's dead, including the people who were in it. Fucking writing, guys. Jesus. Anyway, it's just exposition. Is
Well, she
really
found
what's
it anyway.
happening
That's
here.
all that matters. She found it.
Yeah, she found
should
them out,
try
and
that.
she's trying to like piece together bits of the mystery because the woman that they rescued from that ship is the woman who she captured, and she led her to this testicle snitch thing, and so that's where we're going from here. I don't know.
She should use that Force unlock power on it right now.
That would be really handy, but
it
maybe
would be
she's
really
not
handy.
spec'd as like a rogue or anything with lockpick abilities, so she hasn't actually put points into Force unlock, unfortunately.
Well, technically, she's also a fallen Jedi, so nothing should be off the table for her.
Z, you available?
I am. Osman Socrates in the chat for $4.99 says, the samurai have a set of 3 blades, the katana, longest, wakizashi, shorter, and sometimes a tanto, which is a dagger of sorts.
Ah, well, actually, there's a factual inaccuracy there. Sorry, Hostman Socrates. The longest weapon is, in fact, the Liam Neeson dong. That is the longest of them all, of course. Anyway, back to this boring ass orange lady and its weird-looking robot. They're still chatting shit anyway, but essentially, this is her home. We later find out, isn't it? She's their ship is her home. She basically lives out of her van. How very
By the river.
inspirational. Yeah.
But it's also, of course, the Return of the Jedi reference because that the big Mon Calamari capital ship is Home 1, which is I liked this particular little transition with all the ships just because it reminded me of playing much better video games like X-Wing Alliance, where like you would fly between the capital ships and all the rest of that. Made me think that would have made for quite a good Star Wars show, unlike this one.
If question for really a rhetorical question, so I don't want to reply from anyone on this, but if Liam Neeson was to stick one on Lizzo, would that be when a unstoppable force meets an immovable object? I mean, it's just want to leave that bit of pondering thought with you all. Anyway, let's not get bogged down in Lizzo, because that's not the place we want to get bogged down in. We're in a cockpit, everyone.
I remember.
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon. I remember.
It does look like the Falcon, isn't it?
I remember.
Although, if Lizzo did reveal details about Liam Neeson's genitalia, wouldn't that make her a testicle snitch?
Oh, the references.
See what you did there.
Very good. Very good. Volk's got a request.
Yes.
Well, I'm saying no. so sorry, Volk.
Sorry, Volk.
I
remember Hangar Bay.
Scene. Yeah.
Our minds can't resist people of that magnitude, so we're not going to stop talking about it.
I remember Docking Bay.
Punchable Face is going back to one of his originals, and he appreciates that bedtime thought I've given him there. Wonderful. Okay, so we are in the hangar, and maybe I could bring Brian in. Brian, would you just care to talk us through this little scene, because we do meet another character, another female character.
I can't remember this scene. I think I must have been asleep.
There's a white protocol droid in the back there.
There is. White droids matter, clearly.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I find her quite incredibly obnoxious, just completely ignoring the question and sidetracking.
No, you go for it.
I don't know. Is there any redeeming qualities of this character, Z? Am I missing something here?
No. I mean, Hera in the series is lively. She's animated. She's got a lot of personality and a fierce sense of resolve and friendship. But this, whatever this is, don't know.
I just don't think a Mary Elizabeth Winstead could ever act, ever.
No. But she certainly can't act in this. She can't even emote.
This is where they suggest, or general suggests that they acquire Sabine to help out. I'm not exactly sure why, probably because the story demands it.
Well, there we go.
I did like the look of this, by the way. You know, the holograms in the middle of the. I did quite like the look of this.
I'm first
It looks
shout brown.
fantastic. Doesn't it look it looks fantastic, this show, doesn't it? In places.
In places, I'll give you in places, yeah. But yeah, the little touches like this, the way you get the kind of slightly crackly
Some
image,
nice
you know,
bits, yeah, some nice little.
Yeah, but you
Holograms
don't
at
have
the-
the down and dirty that you'd normally get in Star Wars from the George Lucas trilogy. Everything just looks like it's just been built.
Yeah.
But it's a little too color coordinated with the wardrobe and the backgrounds and everything. But no, it looks good in places. The only problem, another problem with Ahsoka is that she isn't emotionally demonstrative in her facial expressions, and her body language is also incredibly lacking in, arms underneath the thing as well. So there's very little ways in which she can actually express herself.
While we've got you there, Echo, could you read out this super chat from our friend Padawan, please?
Okay. Padawan for, what is that, rubles? I don't know what that is. 10. Ahsoka's short lightsaber first appeared in season 3 of the Clone Wars, called Heroes in Both Sides. She got from Anakin to help block blaster shots. Since then, she has 2.
Nice knowledge from Padawan. We thank you for that, sir. Sir or madam, I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions. So we're in the debriefing room. We're looking at some holograms, and they're looking at these 2 bad guys, aren't they? And yeah, they're analyzing them. And they're asking, what's the connection to Morgan Elspeth, which is very something out of a Victorian novel, that kind of name. But that's the prisoner, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the woman in the yellow boiler suit, wasn't it?
Yep, we're trying to piece this shit together for you, man, babies. It's not easy at times.
Star Wars is all over the place with names. Some of them are literally Star Wars exotic sounding alien names, and sometimes it's just Rose. So I don't know what
yeah, there was a really good example right at the start. The in the opening scene, there was the captain of the ship was referring to a chap, and what was it? Was it just like John or something? It was like, pull up the data, John. Yes.
I'm just waiting for the next episode when someone's going to be called Tony Slattery in it or something like that.
It's another old record.
So many EU books have got some horrendous names. It's like reading the Nigerian World Cup team.
I look at these 2 and I'm just getting distracted by these dangly things from the heads. I mean, what is going on?
Yeah, here you go. Red size. She has 5 dots. Special.
She's a general.
Where's that? Oh, there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well spotted. Very good.
Do they just roll the dice and go with whichever number they get?
Yeah.
Oh, Jordy, that's
why has she
what an
got a
observation.
green cat on her head?
With goggles.
Brownie, I
goggles?
want to know where you're getting your cats from, because there must be some weird looking things. That's all I'm going to say.
It's strange
Near
that
Sellafield, Brown. Sorry.
she's always got those goggles on as well. It's not like she's flying a World War II bomber or even a biplane.
She got the furry collar, the leather jacket. Yeah.
Oh, she's just been doing some arc welding.
Yeah.
I could act better than her.
Well, I don't know. Easy, Brown.
It's because they can't emote behind contact lenses of that thickness. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And here they start to dangle out the old, well, if Thrawn survived, does that mean that Ezra? And oh, for fuck's sake, does anyone ever die anymore? It's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean,
but also this is played up throughout both episode 1 and episode 2, the importance of trying to find Ezra. And I keep, because I do vaguely know who Ezra Bridger is. Well, we know where he is. No, actually, we don't know where he is. He could be anywhere at any given moment abusing some child somewhere. But anyway, the point is that I vaguely know who Ezra Bridger is. And I keep having to put myself in the mind of someone who has never watched or read anything about the animated shows. I think, who the hell is this Ezra kid? Why is it important that we find him? Where is he gone? Why do all these people care about him so much? And the show kind of rests more on the knowledge that, well, it assumes people have. There are ways you can do that. You can build out the importance in a way that makes it, understandable within the context of this show specifically. But this show trades on past knowledge rather than trying to bring that forward to a new audience, which I don't think has any impact at all.
For all the ladies in this show, it fails the Bechdel test at times because they happen to be talking about a male character.
Oh, brilliant observation, Brian. Brian, that honestly is such a good observation. I do doff my round head to you. Can you just in case there are some man babies who don't know what that is? Seems we've got the luxury of time tonight. I mean, we're doing really well tracking wise. Just quick, brief explanation what that is, Brian.
I think it was a parody initially, some daft Reddit thing it came across, but it's supposed to be, film has to have two female characters who are talking to each other, and it cannot be talking about a male. Jordy probably knows this a lot better than I do. He can explain it better than drunk Scotsman.
No, I think that was pretty much right. It's the test where a character either passes or fails the feminism, i.e. Bechdel test, depending on what they're talking about. So women who are talking to themselves, if they talk about men or makeup or relationships, are failing the Bechdel test. If they are talking like normal human beings about various other interests, then they are passing the Bechdel test. Except that it doesn't really work because the number of times I've been on the train or the tube overhearing women in conversation and they've been talking about boyfriends, relationships, and makeup, most women don't pass the Bechdel test because some of those things are kind of interesting conversation topics anyway.
Ah, there we go. He won us round in the end.
General R2, sorry, Roo. The Bechdel test was a joke. Yeah, it was a joke, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's now almost used. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Can we get a bit of, I think it's that time of the evening, we need to roll out the old Emperor Kipling. So if you would please, Swappers.
General R2 in the chat says, a map, a fudging map. Another effing secret map. Yeah.
Oh, indeed. Yes.
We're after
anyway,
the wizard, the wonderful
Wizard of Disney.
Celebrity music plays. Celebratory music even. Yeah.
So here you go.
This is an interesting one, by the way, because as I understand it, the final
Confirmed.
episode of Rebels has a scene where they are standing on the balcony of this tower unveiling the mural that we see behind them. And this episode is picking up, but I don't think it is supposed to be a direct continuation. I mean, Zee probably knows more about this than I do, but there seems to have been like a huge time jump. So this scene happens in Rebels, then the screen turns off, years pass, and we pick it up again years later in the same scene, in the same event, unveiling the same thing with the same people. And I don't really know how that's meant to work.
It's actually more of a reference to a later scene when there's Sabine Wren is touching the mural and Ahsoka's come to collect her. That's the scene that's played at the end of Rebels. And Dave Filoni actually came out and said, I never said when this scene was set.
Oh.
So he kind of probably had this already in mind and pre-retconned it.
Pre-retconning? That's quite impressive.
It is quite impressive. Wow. And this is Clancy Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, Governor, do you trust your wife?
No relation, by the way.
Shawshank Punisher.
He's playing Ryder Stardy, who's the former governor of the planet of Lothal, the one they're on at the moment. And the guy that he talks to in this is a politician called Jai Kell, who also appeared in Star Wars Rebels. So they're going all out and getting the member berries.
Private Zim, everybody.
And can we also, Tom's on it. Can we also reference Highlander? He was the bad guy in Highlander, which I was watching just the other day.
I think he was. I think he played the Deveronian as well in first season, or maybe second season of Mandalorian.
Well, look, I am gonna try and draw out the positives wherever there are, few and far between. Some of the casting choices I think were decent. I do like the Ray Stevens character, equally like this chap. I think he puts in a good turn. He has a presence about him. He's not in it much, but yeah.
He rivaled Ray Stevens in the shoulder front, I think.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people watching things like Brown says, watching Disney Plus on their phones. or on the screen and playing on their phones and kind of half watching this show, thinking that Ray Stevens' character and this guy are the same person.
Yeah, well, the shoulders, the white beard. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're up to 3 wry, curmudgeonly, over 50 men with beards now.
Yeah.
It's opened up cosplay to a whole range of middle-aged men.
Very good Smilex as well, indeed. Lots of Liam Neeson dong-shaped buildings in the background. And then, well, what do we make of this?
This doesn't look right. This does not look right.
No, go on then, swappers. Well, I mean, obviously it's referencing the animated show, but it did. Well, frankly, looking at it now on the screen, it looks like Brownie's just slotted something in there which shouldn't be there, which has happened before on previous streams. Although,
yes.
Why is there a giant furry on the right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Lothwolves.
They
They go all animal magic in Rebels. It's quite irritating.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mural out of the Never-Ending Story with that wolf creature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
They have. Yeah, go on,
the,
swappers.
sorry, Zee, go ahead.
In the Rebel series, they've all got some sort of, these wolves have got some sort of mysterious power. In one particular episode, they lead this crew into a cave, and then they come out on the other side of the planet for reasons. So there are magic wolves in this.
I almost want to go and watch it now just for the entertainment value. It sounds special.
Oh, you'll be throwing your phone at the fucking TV. If
You might also recognise the big purple guy Zeb from the end of Mandalorian, where he was in the bar.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
See,
I remember.
See, this image was done for the cartoon, right? And okay, it looked in place then, but not in a live action show. There's no need to use the same bloody image. They could have at least tarted it up a little bit. It looks terrible. And Zeb,
it's supposed to be a mural honoring, isn't it? The people who didn't they save the planet from like some bad people at some point. So it's a mural that's honoring them, and they've decided to draw it in the style of an anime convention, which is a curious artistic choice.
Thrawn was carpet bombing the planet of Lothal from the lower atmosphere. So
what carpet bombing, is that where they throw like Axminsters down?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And shag piles and stuff. Okay.
But obviously they got rid of him.
You saved us from genocide. Here, have some fan art. That's not the most rewarding thing to be given.
That comment you just put on screen then was brilliant, because I cannot help, ever since reading Viz years ago, I cannot help but spot scenes that look like up the arse corner. They're everywhere.
It's
up the ass.
Dirty old comic.
I remember speeder bikes.
Well,
just
look,
so we know where we are. That previous scene, so that they're supposed to be dedicating the mural, and Sabine Wren is supposed to be there to give a speech, and she has left. So she's introduced, but she's not there because she's busy driving down possibly the longest road in existence.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, speeder bikes don't need them, do they?
No, they don't. Why is it on a road?
Yeah, in order to get to a small abandoned communications tower, they need a freeway as long as California.
This was one of my other frustrating moments in the show. This character, she's introduced. Obviously, she's meant to be giving a speech or making an appearance. Instead, she decides to fuck everybody off, break protocol, break the law, put everyone's lives at risk, all just to be a badass. What a fucking idiot. Way to go to introduce a character. I'm now just can't wait for it to be fucking mutilated. So yes, really didn't enjoy anything about this.
All the Disney stands being, oh my god, oh my god.
They're labeling it very heavy. She's supposed to be this edgy rebel character who doesn't obey rules, and you know that because there's rock music playing as she goes down the motorway, like it's a James Gunn film.
Except when she gets home, you actually find out she's in fact a crazy cat lady in her 30s with no lamb.
She's not all bad then. I will say, boys and girls, the spacecraft. Look at that.
We got to look at that.
Look at that.
I sat up and paid attention at this point because those are Incom E-wing fighters from the expanded universe, and I immediately went, oh shit! Then I realised that Filoni's messed around with them a bit, and they're not quite the same thing, but they're in there at least.
Before we move on from this is just a total rip-off of Star Trek 2009. We
Just about to
introduced
say,
Kirk.
with the introduction of Captain Kirk. Yeah, I was expecting she's going to look up and see an Enterprise getting constructed in the distance.
It's got a bit of the Top Guns about it for me as well. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Pontypool has chucked $4.99 of real money, folks, and he
Real
says
money.
if there was ever an actress cast and a character created to represent the pronoun announcing wokies among us, this is it.
Yeah,
And
she's
he
got the
could
hair,
well
hasn't she?
be
Yeah.
onto something there. And also Nikki Relihan, £2 English of real
Really?
money. One of them looks like Dave Cullen
Dave
in the
Cullen.
mural. Who's Dave Cullen? Does anyone know?
YouTuber.
Oh, right. Which one?
Anti-woke YouTuber. Ginger-haired Irish lad. Yep.
Which one is he on the mural?
The one with the beard.
Oh, right. At
Oh,
the
I'd
back
love
there.
Dave Cullen to be on one of these.
Right. There's your task,
Get onto
everyone.
it,
Get
Brownie.
Dave Cullen.
Everybody, bombard Dave Cullen to come on this show, please.
Take
She
a
is-
drink for
this
the
character-
porn moustache.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Her character is the perfect creation of the people in the writer's room. She's kind of punky. She's got the hair. She's kind of gender ambiguous. She's smug, but underneath the smugness, there's a self-hating kind of disappointment in herself. And she goes home to a cat. It's the perfect creation of the
Plus,
writer's room.
plus, she's got a personal backstory of some hurt or tragedy.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Again, just when you thought this scene couldn't get any more
Drink,
fucking
everybody.
ridiculous, so this idiot decides to park across the highway as though a small speeder bike couldn't just swerve around or underneath it. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. But there she is.
She should have waited and done a Rose Tico and just slammed her into the side.
Oh, yeah, that would have been fabulous, wouldn't it?
Or they
I've-
could have just gone because there's only one place she could feasibly be going to, and they know where she lives. Why not just go to her house and wait?
Here you go, folks. Somebody's been pulling rank here. Melvin Deeply in the chat. Ignore at Mr. Brown Lights. That's me. Bombard. I like that word, bombard. Despot of Antrim instead. He's much better. There you go,
Oh,
folks. You know what you have
okay.
to do.
Well, pick your poison. Average British nerd says she's got an intensely smackable face. We don't condone violence at all, but yeah, we get the sentiment, indeed.
What
And
is Filoni actually trying to tell us here? I mean, does it make any sense at all for the people who have watched the cartoon? Because for the uninitiated, this scene just tells us that Sabine's a complete and utter arsehole.
Yeah, but she's got the Force is female.
She really should have the number 2 at the side, one side, shouldn't she? Swap her
That's a
favourite
nice
haircut.
ass, though.
oh,
I right?
Brownie, I was just waiting for that. Good God,
Am I right in
Brown.
thinking so? Sabine's backstory is she's a Mandalorian, isn't she? And
Yes,
so she
yes.
was
Yeah.
met on Mandalore and was never actually trained as a Jedi, though she was trained to use the Darksaber for a bit.
Yeah.
And this show is about to go on to pretend that actually she was for a time trained as a Jedi, but then Ahsoka left her. None of that, as far as I understand it, happens in Rebels. That's all off-screen stuff.
On an interesting side note, she also produced a super weapon which would vaporize Mandalorians inside Beskar armor.
Was that her?
Yes, it was her.
It was this small child who created that super weapon.
Yes, absolutely. She was
Okay.
responsible for literally dozens of people dying.
It's the arc power generator thing. Is that the one?
Yeah. So yeah, but she isn't the one with the highest kill count. I'll get to that later.
I love it how all the new people new to us know straight away one.
Yes.
Hello, Tim. Well done. Excellent. Well done.
And
Something you did
I
miss
had a
on these
request
slides, I have
to
to point
Atom
out.
Gray.
Go on, Zee.
The droids that they have on these ships, their heads are actually based on the Kenner R2D2 action figure from the
I noticed.
1978 original release.
Oh,
Nice.
Ah.
Trivia.
Cool.
But you've managed
had
to
a,
list them in every shot.
Yeah, well done there, Brown. No one uses these freeways, do they, at all? Ever?
No.
Well, they're all at the celebration.
That's
All
a
the
fair
time.
point. Fair point.
also, unfortunately, they're now part of the ULEZ zone, so you do have to pay a considerable fee if you're going to use those roads. That's Emperor Khan who's introduced that policy there.
No,
Anyway,
I did like
here we
this.
go.
I did like this.
You like this, and you're not being
Yeah.
ironic or sarcastic or sardonic
Meow.
or any of
Cute.
those words.
Cute. Yeah, I
Mm,
liked it
okay.
as a cat person myself. Purr, purr, purr.
Again, Brownie, what kind of cats have you got running about in the Leeds?
Not like that. But
Bearing in
chicken
mind that
legs.
this is a man who has spent a sizable number of years on acid, so I don't know what cats look like to Mr. Brown, but it could well be that your cat looks like this.
No, his cats are normal. Just when he's on acid, that's what they look like.
Syfax has a solution. Shave her head and make her walk backwards, since that ass is better than the face. Ah, there we go.
Oof.
harsh.
Well, we like we say don't just bring problems, bring solutions. So thank you, Syfax.
Episode 1 member Berry here. Qui Gon's.
Yep.
But he shows a 327 Nubian craft off.
Ah.
Nubian.
And then we're introduced to this bullshit
Personal
answer.
backstory, everybody. Personal tragedy, everybody.
So
Personal
when
tragedy.
did he leave this? When would he have left this message for her?
Before he went to go and face Thrawn on his Star Destroyer.
And did he know before he went to go and face Thrawn on his Star Destroyer that he would never come back?
I don't know. It's implied that he did, because he also informed Jai Cal of something that was going to happen and they were going to be attacked. So I think he did have a premonition as to what he was going to be going through. And I've got to give a tip of the hat here to Imanis Fandi, who's playing Ezra Bridger. He actually sounds exactly like him. So
okay.
I think they've made a good casting choice there.
Okay. Again, decent casting. Let's give him props. It's few and far between.
Well, he doesn't really get too much chance to do acting when he's at that scale. So maybe opinions, well, my judgment will be withheld until I see him actually in the flesh.
The best things come in small packages. Thinking manager, everybody. Moving on.
Is that what your bed told you, bro?
Moving on.
Moving on.
There is a little bit of a writing bugbear thing here.
fantastic.
So when you're trying to do what this show is trying to do a lot, which is to fill in huge exposition dumps and things like that, whether it's via like audio logs or whether it's via video logs like this, it's annoying to me when there's no sort of in-universe reason they should be being played. So it's been, I think, a few years since Ezra disappeared, and she's just ditched this opening ceremony. And I mean, yeah, if you want, she's ditched the opening ceremony. She's gone back for no other reason than to listen to that. What again? I mean, like, how many times does she listen to that? Does she listen to it every day, or is it only being done because the audience needs to be filled in on that particular part of the backstory? And it's like, there are better, sort of more diegetic ways of achieving that, I think, than just having her specifically go to do a thing which she has already done 1,000 times believably before.
Yeah,
Brownie,
it's an intimate communication between them, and then he's talking, just filling in with information, like, we grew up together and we did this thing, we went to this place. I thought,
you were like a sister to me and all the rest of it.
I laughed when I saw the scene because I thought he was going to preface every comment with "as you know."
Brownie, before the show 3 days ago, however long it was, you were saying in the green room you were feeling a little bit down, you needed cheering up. Well, here's one from BIGT Moore to cheer you up. Bidget Moore, here you go. You can read this out yourself.
Bidget Moore in the chat. Don't forget, Mr. Brown, your cats will eat you if you die at home. Oh, jeez.
Fun fact, dogs apparently, if you die at home, dogs will quite often get scared and eat your face to make themselves feel better, because something about your face being lifeless and dead on the floor alarms them and they need to get it out of their eye line. And so they will not infrequently eat your face before anything else.
I went out with a dog once. She ate my face, so you're quite correct.
That's what happened to remember the lady at the first face transplant, the Alsatian?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it was the dog, wasn't it?
Yep, she took her face off.
Oh.
So your dog is more comforted by the sight of your dog is more comforted by the sight of stringy flesh. Just hanging on the eyeball.
Well, if you don't feed it, I suppose.
Marks out of 10, Ruin.
Well, look, I know we've not really given its full moment of glory, have we? So go on then. Marks out of 10 for the blonde piece there.
All right, okay, the one on the left.
The one on the left, yeah. Well, I
So,
mean, you could do the old witch if you want. I mean, it's
no.
up to you.
So a mark between 0 and 10 is what you're saying?
Yes, for all the new people watching, Brownie always likes to score between 0 and 10. The fine young ladies. So go on, Brown, take it away.
I'd definitely give a 1.
You give a 1. Oh, okay.
Oh.
There we go, folks.
So
He
with the
will give a
chat.
1. Can you echo Chamberlain? Could you read this one out from Common People, please?
Common People for £10. Disney
Real
Star
man.
Wars is giving my cancer epilepsy.
Oh, that's so many shades of darkness to that
Very
comment.
dark.
Yes, but we get your meaning, sir. Okay, so we're introduced to this witch, the Night Sisters of this Game of Thrones? What the fuck are we doing here
So
now?
the
What's
Night
going on?
Sisters are quite long established. Like in the old expanded universe, there's lots of stuff about the Night Sisters, and they're in like they're in the Fallen Order games as well. They're in a lot of the older games. So the Night Sisters are quite a long, as far as I understand it, and well established race of people in Star Wars. They're effectively kind of witches, and they do they use magic, or is it like a more magical version of the Force?
No, they actually
bullshit.
do use magic, and
They do.
they're from Dathomir, so they're same species as Darth Maul.
And they ride
Oh.
rancors, don't they, in some depictions?
Oh, we've seen that before.
Maybe it depends how horny they get.
As it does. Mind you, I mean, they are a coven of exclusively women, and lesbian bed death is a thing. So
Sorry?
maybe that's it. Yeah, apparently that's the thing. Lesbians eventually get bored of each other because there's only so much you can do with two vaginas. So if you get really bored, you can turn to rancors and other large fauna. My confusion with this scene though was more like, when did this woman who was I didn't even remember her from Mandalorian, but given she was in the Mandalorian, when did she become randomly a descendant of Nine Sisters?
When the plot demanded it.
Nikki Rellahan for £5, real money, and I totally agree. 1. I totally agree.
Is that a series of ones, or is that just a huge, massive figure which was beyond putting into words?
I think he likes the blonde.
He does like the blonde. Okay,
Yeah,
Nikki,
blonde.
we'll send you. We'll privately DM a number to you for your generous contribution. Thank you, Nikki. Let us know how you get on. Yeah, here's Ray again. Every time he's on screen, I'm drawn to him. He's got the.
I'm drawn to the one on the right. To be fair,
Okay,
but that's just
well,
me.
Have you noticed that she's got like a Padawan braid?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and a Hayley Williams fringe. Yeah. And she's looking for Sabine Wren. We know. Okay. Look at the raised eyebrow there. It's
That's acting, is
Good.
that?
Excellent
Yes.
eyebrow work there.
Yeah.
Proper Roger Moore.
Mm.
I like
Just
how
gonna
his
tell it to be-
mustache is a bit kind of yellowed, like a 20-a-day smoker.
Oh yeah, good spot.
Ruin, did we do the Padawan 10 super chat?
Oh, I'm not sure. Could you?
This one? Do we do this one?
Yes. Oh, hang on. Did we?
We did that.
Yeah,
one.
we did.
Yeah, we did
Yes.
do that one. Yeah. Yep. You're gonna have to pay again now, Padawan. He's put it up twice. So if you could, fulfill that one. It is in the terms and conditions of the channel. So we go back to, is this Sabine's whorehouse? What are we
Distant
looking at?
clanking.
There must be something about distant clanging is funny, and I can't work out what it is.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It
gets
rhymes
better.
with something else. That's why.
Quiet beeping.
It's
beep,
basically
beep,
describing
beep.
Z's love life, this, isn't it? Distant clanging and quiet beeping.
I'm off to the toilet for some distant clanking.
And then, is this a look at that moment, Brown, or is it mainly a look
Yes,
at
a
that
fine. That is fine booty. Yes.
ass? Okay. And I mean, does it get
Jesus.
any more woke
Obvious.
than,
Yeah. Ugh, drink,
I mean,
everybody. If you-
so much hair dye? She's going to end up with a skullet if she keeps using that amount of hair dye. It's all going to fall out.
So the writer's room. We'll just go back, Rue.
Mhm. Okay.
So the people in the writers' room were just literally creaming their underwear seeing that. Is that true then?
Well, they must
That's
have all
Gen
been
Z
very
in one
much
image.
like, oh, she's just like me, so relatable.
Yeah.
Oh my
But she-
God, how amazing!
She does have brightly coloured hair in the series, though, in
Oh,
the
okay.
animated
Okay.
series. So it's not been added for this.
Oh, okay.
It's like me, an obnoxious C word.
The cat is back, everybody.
Why is she always stood with her arms folded? What's that about?
she's
Is this
a
just a
sweet
resting
twat.
bitch face thing? I mean,
Pass.
well, anyway, Sabine is finally hauled in, and she's just, frankly, a bit of a hard-faced bitch over it all, isn't she? And then,
It's because there's supposed to be this backstory between them where Ahsoka effectively left her, but I don't think that even happened in Rebels. That is all off-screen relationships that they're paying off here.
Yeah,
So
that-
there's supposed to be this distance between them and a tension because it's the first time they've seen each other since she was abandoned off-screen. But because it was off-screen, we don't really get that. And so when I watched this for the first time, I just assumed, yeah, this must be a cartoon relationship that's being paid off. But no, it's not. It's invented for the show.
Yeah, everything that their rift between them has completely happened off screen. But it is worth mentioning that in no point in Star Wars Rebels was Sabine Wren Force sensitive.
Yeah, that's what I was
Zero.
thinking. I was wondering if you were going to bring this up, Z. It
Yeah,
never, it just came out of nowhere.
indication of any type of force powers whatsoever.
The droid
So-
does say she's absolutely useless, doesn't he, at some point?
Yeah, there is that scene where they're standing together at the balcony. That's the one.
Moving on.
And silence.
Well, what are we looking at here? Some drawings on the wall, or?
That's her bunk on the Ghost. She's an artist,
Oh, right,
apparently.
okay.
But
Piss off.
if my kids drew these, I wouldn't stick them on the fridge.
So
Stick the kids on the fridge.
we're currently on the Ghost. Is that right?
It would appear to be.
Better than Ray's. She can only manage a few deep scratches on her fucking AT-AT.
Oh wait, no. I think this is her bunk on Ahsoka's ship. So she was her Padawan
okay.
previously on Ahsoka's ship. Yeah, right.
Oh,
okay.
might be. My bad.
So Thrawn is a great master tactician, and one of his things is that he likes to use or understand the art of certain cultures in order to get insights into how to defeat them or what their mindset or strategies are. So maybe in some weird kind of way that could tie into her being an artist.
Possibly.
Good point. I know that's in the novel, but is that mentioned as part of the Rebels cartoon series as well? Because it's a very good character trait.
It is. It's the question I'm slightly dreading being answered is which Thrawn do we get? Is it the one from the books or is it the one from the cartoons? And are they different? Or is it a third one entirely because Dave Filoni can't keep track?
It's Elon Musk, isn't it? I think we've seen the leaked photos. Yeah.
Does awfully look like the inside of that ship. Awfully looks like the Galactic Star Cruiser, which is probably a very bad thing.
It
Yep.
does, doesn't it? Yep.
Jama Lama. At the same time, you thought that Swappers also made the comparisons. Yeah,
Great
it's
minds.
almost like that's one of your burner accounts. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
Poor Ahsoka's getting charged $5,000 a night to be in this ship.
This is a very, very. This is a buzzword of TV from California at the moment. Codex. We had it on Star Trek: Strange New Worlds the other week.
I think it's because the word Rubik's Cube is copyrighted. So they can't actually say that. But that's basically what it is, as it turns out.
Yeah, so at this point, I was slightly losing the will to live in the episode. I just wanted
God,
shit
you
to
were,
happen. Atom Gray, I liked your idea. We do wish it was a thermal detonator that could have blown these boring bitches into smithereens, but
Were these
yeah.
two lovers, as it were?
Oh, Brown, only in your dreams, man.
There's some sexual tension, or was that me?
Well, no, because they're about to forget that they know each other entirely. So, given how much time I gather
Intimately.
these two did, these two did spend a bit of time together in the animated shows, as far as I understand it, and it's
Yeah.
implied they spent a lot of time together off screen since then. But for reasons of the plot, Ahsoka is about to forget that she knows who Sabine actually is. So she is surprised when Sabine just steals the thing and runs away in about 2 minutes' time.
Okay,
The other
apparently-
problem here, though, is that the Rubik's Cube thing is not, in fact, all
She was
that
a good
difficult
friend.
to solve. You've got all the information you need. You have the scan of the temple, which gives you the key to unlock it, and then you have the mechanism itself. And I'm thinking, well, why can she do this? But, for example, the really old Jedi Archive droid thing that they have with them cannot. Surely a droid could have figured this out. They didn't need her, did they? Is there some special skill she has?
Diverse.
Well, beyond
Brian,
that.
question for you, Brian. Does it fail the bechamel test if two women on
It's a
screen
fucking cheese sauce.
if the two women on screen are talking but they are fondling a ball while they are talking, does that fail the
Oh.
test? It
Yes.
must. Yes.
Yes.
Must, yeah. Anyway, so Brown's watching this at home. He's got his box of tissues to one side. He's got his oil
Hugh
on the
Edwards.
other side.
I was wanting it to end by
He's
this
got the
point.
full Hugh Edwards, the kecks around the ankles, and he's just waiting for this lesbian scene, which never happens. But yeah, instead, we
I
just
see
get
the
this
two of you are getting
stupid robot.
reacquainted.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's line reading time, everybody. Okay, this is the fabulous moment in the live stream where Brown reads words from a screen. So go on, Brown. We'll give you a run
I
at
see
it. Yeah.
the two of you are getting reacquainted.
Keep going.
As requested, I have run an analysis on the lightsabers.
But you didn't bloody think of doing it on the codex, did you? Even though it's the same skill set that you're using to
Moving
figure out who
on.
these people are.
Going really Dalek there at the end.
Fornicate. I was able to reconstruct the details of the two hilts. Is this true, by the way, or are they just making this up?
Oh, they're making it all up as they go.
In the last 500 years, I've only known one student.
Ooh.
Z, is this true, or is this something they're making up for this?
Well, he is a master lightsaber designer,
Oh, okay.
so this is in keeping with his personality.
We've got a request from Punchable Face,
Oh,
Brown. If you could
God.
pull out the bag of Jamaican Dalek. Come on, we know you've got it in you.
Exterminate, man. That's it.
There you go. Give it your Jamaican Dalek.
He disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars, like so many Jedi.
This would just be so much better as a whole for Star Wars if the word disappeared was replaced with was killed. Because
Well,
that's what that used to be
yeah.
the case until Dave Filoni arrived.
and there's
No
the,
one's ever dead, though, are they?
no,
No.
no one's ever really gone. You know that.
Yeah.
There's the title of the episode, everyone.
Yes. Drink.
Drink it for it.
And look, she's disappeared with the thing that you knew you should have known she would do this. The whole point of the long stairs between them is that they have a long-standing relationship. How do they then pretend that they don't know the basic characteristics each of them have?
It is
Sweet.
terrible writing, though, because she specifically says, don't do the thing. And then she
She did it.
immediately does the thing.
You know what? I thought I gave the show too much credit because I thought there was going to be a scene later where Ahsoka would turn to the droid and say, like she'd set it up that she wanted her to take it because that would show that she's got a bit of spark and a bit of intuition and a bit of desire. That would have been cool, but instead, no, she just took it.
Good point.
Yeah, but isn't that the Disney Star Wars female lead way where they just steal things?
Hmm.
This
Maybe
is
not, maybe
another Phantom Menace ripoff, but although
Oh,
a
yes.
strange color-coded probe droid to blend
Ah.
in.
Almost shot for shot a rip-off. And
Yeah, when it
Yes.
returns back to her hand, it is almost exactly the same as the Tatooine scene with Darth Maul.
I don't know about chattering. Oh my god, I'm like on this planet and stuff, and I got to look for things. And I'm going to go do this and stuff.
I'm not sure if I have a quibble with
One
this,
over
but so on Tatooine, it sort of makes sense that Maul can land undetected because it's Tatooine. It's a backwater, fairly lawless place, and so probably they don't really care too much about comings and goings and all the rest of that. I don't know very much about this planet because I haven't watched the cartoons because I like to go outside instead. But would they not have maybe had some means of detecting ships coming in and out of the atmosphere? Could she really just have landed out in the middle of the desert without anyone thinking, hey, there's a strange person over there. I wonder what they're up to.
Oh, there you go,
sorry.
Brown. Yeah.
Meow. Oh, it's a cute little pussycat. Cute.
Well, we don't know the gender, Brown. Easy there.
Couldn't they have come up with some actual different kind of slightly alien sounds? It sounds like they literally just took cat sounds.
How does that go, Brown?
That's Brown blowing up his pleasure doll. It's
Polythene Pam.
Vinyl Vera.
Is this absolute dull-ass bitch with a stolen bollock? And
Here you go. Thinking man's joke. I approve.
oh, Smilex. Smilex, you better recreate these gems
Very
when
good.
you're on the live with us.
Well done, mate. Well done. That's very good.
Oh, when she was explicitly told not to.
Who could possibly have seen her doing that?
Fucking hell. She is an awful actor, isn't she?
It's just as stubborn and bullish as ever. Just as fucking
So why are you
stupid.
surprised that she stole the bollock? These two lines contradict themselves.
It just makes them all look pretty dumb, really, doesn't it?
And
Yeah.
why she got a cat on her head? Still.
the big question.
And why she got like it's like it looks like a pair of bollocks on her head.
May I make a request?
Go.
That Z
Go for it.
reads out Nikki Rayland's chat.
Oh,
It's just
that would
made
be
for
wonderful.
Z.
Yeah. There we go. Ready, Z?
Nikki Rellahan in the chat for £5 says, our tech is better than Star Wars. Can't even detect a ship, and we can take a photo of a black hole billions and billions of miles away. We
He didn't do the
absolutely
thing.
can. And I have been watching today of the amazing work that the Indian Space Agency
Oh,
is
yes.
doing, landing on the moon.
Nobody can see it.
See,
Oh, God,
see, I'm
that's so funny.
devastated. You didn't do the thing.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
Sorry.
oh,
And we can
Give-
take
give him
a
his money.
photo of a black hole. Billions and billions of miles away.
Hey.
excellent. So yeah,
Yeah,
on the
too.
same day, virtually, India land something on the moon. Pakistan can't even get a cable car to work. I mean, it's yeah, a bit of an unfortunate comparison. Anyway, Fear the Hammers,
there's one more. Yeah,
Brownie.
do it. Go, 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 go.
Go on, Brown.
Fear the Hammers for $2. I can listen to this group talk Star Wars forever. Well, it's
Oh.
not Star Wars, but thank you, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Fear the Hammers. We appreciate that.
I
See,
think
Brownie.
it's talk bollocks. It's talk bollocks
I
forever.
know,
That's the,
but
yeah.
some people do appreciate
Cheers,
it.
my friend.
Yeah, we did find it difficult at times. We found it difficult watching her throughout this whole fucking show, to be honest.
It's more exposition just for people who have
Anakin.
forgotten where we are and who these people are and what their relationships are because most people didn't watch Rebels or the
I
Clone
remember.
Wars.
I remember Anakin. I remember.
As
Do
you
you
know,
remember
Anakin
in
never
the,
got to finish my training.
Do you remember in the book of Boba Fett when she said she couldn't train Grogu because of emotional attachments? And yet she tried to train Sabine Wren, who has more emotional attachments than a 40-year-old divorcee.
Good point from Hostman Socrates, who says, "Why does every single woman in Star Wars have resting bitch face now?" And it
It's
is
the Disney
indeed a
way.
good question.
Well, to put it more succinctly, why is every woman in Star Wars single? Just to put it more succinctly.
Oh,
They
well,
can't
maybe.
write good female characters. They just copy men and make them as miserable as sin, just like themselves.
Yeah, Hera did have a relationship with the bearded one you saw in the painting earlier, Kanan Jarrus. They actually have a son together, but you won't get to hear his name or see him at all in this series.
What?
So she's got a son, Jason Sendula, which she had with Kanan Jarrus. You get to see him in the closing sequences of the last episode of Rebels. Not mentioned even one. I like her badge. Reminds me of Strepsils. Anyway, moving on.
Swiftly.
Has
Okay,
no one
well,
mentioned no one on Twitter mentioned the number of problematic arses in this show? I'm sure there must be someone disgusted,
no.
some 20-stone heifer absolutely disgusted at this episode.
Yeah, it was. It did
Lizzo.
feel like we're watching Fast and Furious or something at certain points in this movie. Anyway, here's this sour face bitch again. What's she doing now? Three faces.
She's solving the Rubik's Cube
Yeah,
by
solving
comparing
it,
it
yeah.
to the scan of the temple.
Ah,
Three faces. Oh, I know. Mysterious music plays.
Was she a known problem solver in her cartoon iteration? Is that the reason that she was picked specifically for this?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
She's a skilled technician and can completely back engineer droids and things apparently as well.
Huh. Oh yeah, of course she can. Oh god, yeah, that's episode 2 though. We're not going to get there.
No.
I want to know what's going on in the chat where people are sharing snacks or buying each other snacks. I mean, what's going on? We know you all get on very well, but this is taking it to another level. Franco's getting snacks for Andy Mouse. It's crazy. Anyway, back to the what are we calling it? The golden bollock, or
Someone in chat has offered up the explanation. She is smart, which is yes. I mean,
There you go.
A Disney Star Wars female,
Cheers, Volk.
obviously.
Yes,
that
very
is the
good.
answer to everything.
Was I the only person here that was expecting the chains to come out of the walls with hooks on and bed into her body as she solved the Hellraiser ball?
well, we were hoping.
Yeah, I
for
thought that as well. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Was anyone, when they're watching this along, did you have any chance of like following along with what she's doing and figuring out how she's matching it all together? Because I was just waiting for it to finish and move on to the next thing.
I was just going to assume that it was bullshit, so I stopped paying attention. I was waiting for it to finish, but maybe there is some method to it. I think that there's some pattern in the scan of the temple, I think, which matches one of the symbols, and then she Rubik's Cubes it and it works. I can't remember exactly how it works.
It's matching the symbols on the table, isn't it?
Mm.
Quiet, rumbling.
Oh. Well,
Magic
something so-
bullshit machine.
This is
What do you
like
think of
Tony
the idea-
Stark
A map
solving
to
time
Luke
travel in
Skywalker.
Endgame.
You all
absolutely.
talked over each other
We
then.
did. What do you
Well,
think of
we've
the
not-
idea of Star Wars expanding into a different galaxy altogether? I think it slightly breaks the rules, but I think if they move into another galaxy, they should be doing something else entirely, a completely different set of characters. Maybe not even the Force, maybe something else. I think a fresh slate rather than
Starfleet.
doing this. And the one thing that terrifies me with a new galaxy is one day they might have the Milky Way galaxy and then horrendous crossovers as they get more and more desperate.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it was Ryan Johnson's new trilogy that's definitely happening. It was supposed to take place in a different galaxy, wasn't it?
Well, wasn't the original version of Thrawn rebuilding the Galactic Empire's forces outside, at least out of the Outer Rim? So not maybe in a completely different galaxy, but certainly outside of the known confines of the galaxy Star Wars is set in. But he wasn't, as far as I remember, he wasn't sort of cast there by accident or exiled there or anything. It was a very conscious and deliberate plan because there was a backup plan in case the Empire fell. He goes out, he rebuilds, and then the Imperial remnant sort of resurges and comes out into the galaxy from outside. And it's all very deliberate. Whereas in this version, it does very much seem that by time travel whale magic, he's just out there somewhere. And now we're going to somehow bring him back with the equivalent of magic. It's not quite as compelling, I don't think.
Ruin, just go back one. Sorry, go back.
Mm.
Another.
Oh.
I don't remember those lost cats sounding actually like cats in the cartoon, though.
I used to say that every Saturday night back in the 90s. Moving on.
She is about to be ambushed by the assassin droids. That's what the screeching is about. The assassin droids have turned up to steal the thing which she has very conveniently solved for them before they've picked it up.
I thought it was the cat doing the screech. Brown, could you give us a cat screech for us?
Oh my god.
Bloody overaction.
Hang on. I just got a load of screeching there. We're going to need to separate this out. Let's go around, everyone, and get a cat screech from everyone. So, Jordy.
Screeches.
Brian. Oh, Swappers. Echo. Oh. Brownie.
Do you know, I've got two cats and I can't even make a noise.
I would ask what you've been doing to those cats, but I don't think I'd like the answer.
No, you don't want the answer.
Z. Oh, that's very good.
That one's in heat.
Ruin, gone.
Oh well, my dog's going to freak out when I do this again.
Ben Butt is recording this stream with an erection at the moment. With these fancy sound effects.
I think he managed out of it.
2:35, 2 hours 35. We're doing cat screechy noises. So anyway, back to the shit on the screen.
Blasters
and
firing and
yeah,
grunting.
Yeah, we're supposed to give a shit here. I mean, I'm just rooting
Ruin,
for this
did we do
bitch to take one.
this? Can't remember.
No, we didn't. So why don't you do it, Brown?
Bank of Hostman, Socrates for $5. The unknown regions were prominently featured in the EU and in Knights of the Old Republic 2. Zee-ThreePIO hints at the true Sith who would lie in wait outside the edge.
We never really got to see that because the game was rushed to completion by LucasArts, and so the end of that game isn't what I think it was supposed to be. But you can get a mod which restores some of the cut content, which is kind of interesting.
Thank you, Hostman.
Straining everybody. Grunts.
Up the arse corner there for Swappers.
This bit's ridiculous. Oh my god.
Loud clang. Clanking.
Little Platoon must have been watching this, just tearing his hair out this whole time.
I will say by this point, I think I was about 6 hours in with the slides, and the audio descriptions were getting me through this. Loud clanking.
It was another terrible Mandalorian bloody action scene back there where they're waiting for things to happen. Like the cat hisses and then she turns around and then the robot shoots her. And then after that point, none of the other robots shoot her. None of them at all. Even that's the most effective way of dispatching her. None of them do it.
Moving on.
Well, shit's getting shot up here.
Loud popping. Grunts. Lots of grunts on this episode.
Lots of jump cuts as well for the action scene. Lots and lots of cuts.
Blasters firing. And his foot.
Another arse shot.
Grunts.
The other droids, while she was being sort of grabbed by one of them, the one she just shot, the other one with the testicle ran into the lift and left. And then she shot the other one, which we are led to believe is dead because she shot it twice, once through the foot and once through the chest. It's not going to be. I don't think so. Anyway, at least some droid will appear in episode 2 that really shouldn't have been there. But that's because the plot needed some way to get them to their destination. It's a fucker. We can get to that another time. But that was quite enjoyable in a terrible way.
More arse. We really should have had a drinking game over the amount of ass in this film. Question for you, Brown, from Common People. He says, why did the slides take so long to do, you boomer?
Because I tried to be as professional as possible. It's difficult. Just getting the optimum frame for your pleasure.
Arse shot, he means.
Yes.
Houston, we have a problem.
There's another Phantom Menace reference coming in. It's the one where, Qui-Gon and Annie are running through the desert, and then the ship has to come in and save Qui-Gon from Maul, basically that. But this time, it's because for some reason the villains who have got what they came for have decided that they're not going to leave. They're now going to stand around outside and wait for her to arrive so they can have a fight, which makes no sense that I can think. I don't know why they're still there. Why haven't you left
Go
now?
back. Ruin. I will say by this point, the subtitles were just telling us how bad it was. Pants.
Yeah. They are
Telling us what to look
describing
at.
things very literally now, yes. So, go on, Bri.
I know they like to get the lighting references done quite nicely, but still, I can't stand these bendy lightsabers that they've got. I mean, the lighting references look really pretty cool, but they just don't. They really don't work.
Also, we've been looking for this is the most redundant piece of dialogue. We know you've been looking for that. That's why you're here and you've got it. Nobody even in the scene doesn't know that that's what they're there for. And why are they still there anyway? Why haven't they left yet?
Pass.
No, the most redundant line of dialogue was when she was on the speeder and one of the pilots said, "She's not stopping."
Swappers, you available in your best Emperor?
Ooh.
Black lives or black votes for $1.99. Says there are only 3 Star Wars movies. There, I said it.
Nicely done. What do we make
Excellent,
of
Dr. Strangelove.
what do we make of the lightsabers?
Well, this one's not hers.
Well, she steal it?
Yes.
What a surprise.
A bit like Rey
Women can't make their own
Skywalker.
lightsabers.
It's Ezra's, isn't it? Isn't it
It's
Ezra's
lightsaber, yeah.
Grunting.
Brown says Miller.
You missed
it's
it,
Miller,
Brown,
yeah.
but
Grunting.
the bit where she lights a lightsaber up and then she actually contacts the other person's lightsaber takes about 5 minutes. There's like this whole section just standing there and slowly edging forward forever. And it's just like, my God, they could have condensed this show into half an hour.
Gary Nerdrotic said the choreography for this was dog shite.
It was.
It was.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
quite
dog
now.
shite.
I remember
It was
watching
dog
this
shite.
fight thinking, like, I'm not professionally trained with lightsabers, but there are plenty of opportunities to win this fight, and you're not taking them because you both suck. But then again, we're about to see that it wouldn't have mattered if those opportunities had been taken because lightsabers are not lethal weapons.
Lightsabers buzzing.
I think it's Dave Filoni who was gradually edging forever.
I didn't know Gamora was
sorry.
in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Here you go, folks. Again, the was telling me again it's pants.
Big problema is really saying what we're all thinking.
That we want, yes. That's what we do want. But let's move on.
Exploring each other's outer rims.
So from the Lesbo scene to the cockpit, and it's why has that lady got a cat on her head? That's what I want to know.
Don't know.
Terrible shot. I can't see what's going on, but
clashing of lightsabers.
This is why this thing takes so long to get the slides, by the way. We have to have these things are incredibly important, and it's vital that we have an opportunity to comment on this visual mastery.
Yeah.
This is where Brown has a go at me for giving no commentary at all. That's okay. There we go. That's something for you there. She doesn't look. She looks frankly bored there, doesn't she? I mean,
I go through pain for everybody's pleasure. You're welcome, man, babies.
Yeah. And that's just riding his giant black dildo.
When
for
I
the
do the
OnlyFans
slides,
channel.
when I do the slides for something that's entertaining, like RoboCop, never had a problem. I just loved it.
Oh.
Doing stuff like this, you know it's shite. And if you're not invested in something, it's horrible. You just don't want to know.
What the fuck is a deep warble?
Well, we're about to find out. So quick. Don't analyze it, Brown. Hold it. I want to go around.
As I said, that the on-screen descriptions were getting me through this by this stage. Moving on.
Okay, no, we're not moving on. We're all going to
God,
interpret.
no.
We're all going to do our own interpretation of a deep warble, starting with Z. Brownie. And Echo.
Smoke on the water.
Swappers. And go Brian. And I've been saving him to last because he is the man with the golden vocal cords. Go Jordy.
There you go. Black lives or black votes. Yes. Moving swiftly on.
Heavy breathing.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Heavy
you're getting
breathing.
excited, aren't you?
Heavy breathing.
Oh, look.
Groans.
Oh, no.
Oh,
A flesh wound.
I mean, this is right through the middle of the old the torso,
Utter.
isn't it?
utter dog shit.
Well, that's the whole
Okay.
series summed up in one image. Two powerful female characters, dyed hair, a lightsaber, and ass.
Yes, another arse shot.
Her internal
Indeed.
organs will be just
Turn to sausage.
effectively just cooking inside.
Mm.
Is that's sometimes the argument you'll hear is like, well, maybe it didn't hit any vital organs. To which
Oh,
all you need to do, you just get the screenshot of Qui Gon cutting into the blast doors on the
Yep.
Trade Federation ship, and look at what
Yep.
it's doing to everything around it. That is happening inside your body. You are
Yep.
not getting away from this unscathed. You are probably dead.
She's
At the
not
very
even
least,
screaming.
you've lost a boob. So
Yeah, but her anger kept her alive.
Oh. I mean, even if you want to go to a more recent reference, just earlier in this goddamn episode, Ahsoka was cutting through solid rock
Oh,
with
yeah?
their lightsaber. So, yeah, most certainly
It
this
truly
was.
there's a
mere
bit in
flesh wound.
the second episode where Sabine, who has just been stabbed in the hospital bed, sits up
Don't
and
spoil
actually
it, spoil it.
says, "I'm fine." I know you are, but you shouldn't be.
Bearing in mind, if you
Oh,
think of The Empire Strikes Back in the final fight scene where Luke gets that one grazing strike against Vader's shoulder, and Vader goes "Arr!" in pain and agony.
yeah.
But now you can be you can see right through yourself from a wound, and it's not that big a deal.
Mm.
Brian, you available, please?
Yes. Jonathan Frost for $5 in the chat says Deep Wobble is the Star Wars version of a tea bagging.
Very good.
At the risk of sounding naive, but I've heard two different versions. What officially is a teabagging?
It's when someone falls asleep, you put your testicles in their mouth.
It's
Oh,
Gadunga. Yeah.
is that what it is? Is that everyone's understanding? What Brian just?
Gadunga. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Gadunga.
Okay.
Dunga.
No one else thought it was anything else.
You've obviously never been teabagged.
No, praise the Lord, I haven't. Praise the Chord.
You're welcome.
Oh, fit.
Yeah, she's got a kind of a slightly attractive cross-eyed thing going on, but
One
Yeah.
everybody.
I
One.
like that she's
one-
just killed that miserable
one-
bitch anyway,
one-
and then she's got that
one.
going for her.
She hasn't though, has she? Because she's going to
Well,
be fine again in about
oh,
10
Yeah, I
minutes.
thought she had.
Fuck it.
Um,
That is Disney Star Wars, isn't it?
Another arse shot, even there, we can see the kind of the peachy
Ugh.
arse. Yeah.
Utter bollocks.
A lot of lens
Oh.
flares in this show.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to
How
go
did
around the
they know?
group. Don't
How
worry.
did they know?
Oh, and there we are. We made it.
Just on that, just the previous slide there, it
Yeah, go
is
through
quite
that,
remarkable
3 hours.
that
Yeah,
because there was
well.
no indication given actually in the show itself that she is alive. And so the fact we know she is purely because it's a
You
meme
told
now.
us.
This is
Well, you
just
told
what
us.
happens. Well, no, but if you're watching the show for the first time, if you hadn't watched any other Disney Star Wars, you'd think, well, she's probably dead. but everyone knows she's not. Everyone who's ever seen any Disney Star Wars knows she survived, because it just happens again and again and again and again and again. So what do they even? What's the dramatic payoff they're even going for here? Because they must know the audience knows she's not dead. So why are they even trying to pretend that she is? What's the point here?
Yeah, it's got to the point now, and you're all right, Jordy, where there's no peril. It just doesn't matter. We see people literally getting impaled, and we fully expect to see them in the next episode, which, as you inform us, does indeed happen. Liam Neeson, as Volk says, is indeed pissed off right now, and surely there's a way back.
I think Liam got the shit end of the stick, didn't he? Really, when you think about it, or the shit end of the lightsaber, as it were.
Yeah, it's it really is annoying. But hey, the Disney fans will lap it up. Everyone reiterating the R.I.P. Ray with an A, of course. Yeah, and he look, for me, he did a good turn in this episode. I hope he's equally good in the rest of the series.
Well, I will say I'm glad they
loss.
did this, because when when Boba Fett, Jeremy Bulloch died, there was a bit of an uproar because they didn't put a caption on the end of, was it the Mando or Boba Fett? I can't remember, but I think later they put the for Jeremy Bulloch on the edited version of one of the TV programs. But at least they've done it on this.
Well, they're a bit indifferent. It depends on who they like and who they don't like. I remember for a couple of years, the Star Wars Twitter account hasn't wished James L. Jones a happy birthday.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So they can be quite harsh at times.
Ruin, why is the slide going backwards?
Because Tom requested it, and then
he likes him dead.
And he just wanted to drop a one in, so I thought it was a perfect way to just round it off.
There was super chat.
Of course, that means if the rest of chat now starts asking you to go back a frame, you can't show favoritism, and you will actually have to do it. So if chat just spams, can we go back a frame?
Well, we've got 10 minutes to fill everything. 10 minutes.
Yeah, does anyone like me to go back to the start, and we'll do it properly this time? There is a super chat, and why don't we get Echo to read this one, if you would, please?
General R2 for $5. Like the Holdo maneuver, dying from a lightsaber wound is a 1,000,000 to 1 shot.
Ooh, it's true. It is becoming a rare thing indeed. You're right, R2. It's directed by Dave Filoni, everyone, and wow.
Oh dear.
Praise the Dave.
Explains the flatness and uninteresting angles that we had all the way through them.
We have had a request to go back to a particular frame from Abject Mediocrity, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll damn well do it, but while I do that and find that particular shot, rather than watching Dave Filoni's name, the stupid arsehole, we'll go and find a nicer arsehole. But while I do that, let's go around the table, get your closing thoughts as we wrap up towards the 3-hour mark. Let's start with Brian, if we would, please, Brian. Closing thoughts on episode 1 Ahsoka.
Well, this episode is called The Master and the Apprentice. And when you say those words, I can't help but think of George Lucas and Filoni, and what one hell of a gulf in quality there is between those two. I think this entire series is just going to be Filoni training, basically, and getting all these shitty little thoughts and practice out on this one. I don't know. I've obviously watched episode 2 as well, and I've just found it so far to be duller than dishwater.
You won't find him.
I don't think it's particularly interesting. It's not particularly entertaining. The dialogue's not exciting or funny or clever. I don't know. Maybe the Clone Wars and the Rebel fans will maybe get something out of this, but I certainly didn't. Moving forward, I'd rather not move forward. I'd rather this just be the one episode that we cover and then move on to something fun. I don't know about you guys.
We've had really, really fantastic numbers watching this.
Oh.
I'm determined to find this arse shot. I'm going to keep going.
You won't find it.
I'm going to find it.
Every third shot is an arse shot.
That's true. There's one in particular.
You're going to break the stream.
Just put my avatar on screen. It'll be fine.
Oh, go on with
So you've broke the stream now. It's
Have I
just
broke
whirring.
this? No, oh, hang on.
Nearly there.
Has to be
We're
around
nearly
here.
there.
There we
Nearly there. There we
There
go.
we
go.
Who said I can't do it, Brown? There you go, man, babies. I did it for you. Thank you, Brian, for your summary, and sorry you were so disappointed with it all. But I hope you had, like me, a nice little nap in the middle. It was good for something, I
Yes, it
suppose.
certainly helped, didn't it?
Cal, let's get Zee's thoughts, if you will, please. Zee, you're the man who's watched all the background material, the animations. What do you make of episode 1?
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau should stay the fuck away from live action projects. Seriously, they can't write for toffee. They can do some Dave Filoni can do some decent animation storylines. It doesn't translate well over to the bigger screen. So, I mean, knock it off, mate. Unfortunately, you're probably going to see him inherit Kathleen Kennedy's dead man's shoes.
Oh.
Oh no.
Metal scraping, everybody.
Well, we're really condemning words from Z there. Echo, and so great to have you on with us today, and you've certainly provided some magical moments. So could you give us your closing thoughts on Ahsoka, please?
Well, I didn't hate it, but it's just a whole bunch of nothing. You've got a MacGuffin, you've got fetch quests, you've got average dialogue, you've got characters whose personalities are almost interchangeable. It's ersatz Star Wars. So ersatz means like instant coffee instead of the real thing, or margarine instead of butter. And it's just an ersatz collection of Star Wars stuff on the screen, programmed McDonald's Star Wars stuff. So I could have watched it with the sound down and just enjoyed some of the visuals. But as the image suggests, it's essentially just the arse end of Star Wars.
The arse end
literally.
of Star Wars.
Quite literally.
I saw what you did
Yeah.
there. Very good.
Yeah, very good. He's very sharp.
It is.
Well, Brownie, Brownie, and I know
Do you want my opinion?
I do want your opinion. You spent the time putting these
Okay.
slides together. I know there was some
It was-
cat action. There's lots of arse
It was
action.
probably about 6 or 7 hours of
Mm.
not wanting to do it, just doing the slides, fucking about on my phone. So technically, I was watching it how it should be watched. But was this needed? Obviously, it's just a passion project for Filoni, but you could just tell that he was just cracking one off. And it's just girl boss. Just a complete waste of money. Just
Oh.
as I said, what little hope we had when Mando season 3 turned up. It's just no hope now. It's just
Oh.
it's gone.
From New Hope to No Hope, eh?
Yeah, it's just gone. Yeah, I will say. Do you know what? Here you go. Exactly. My thoughts exactly. Here you go, folks. Yes. Rebel Moon. Something I'm looking forward to, even though I know you guys are a bit off about Zack Snyder, but it does look very good.
Okay, well,
Wasn't
Rebel
this
Moon,
his
everybody.
original Skeleton Crew concept for Star Wars? Isn't that what Rebel Moon's based on?
Yes.
Don't all talk at once.
It was a start. Zack Snyder pitched it to KK, and obviously, because KK knows her Star Wars, basically told him to fuck off. That was it.
I've heard that Rebel Moon is basically a retelling of the Magnificent Seven or Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great film.
Echo, you're getting some love from Nikki Relihan, my official now #1 fan here, but he may now
It's
be
his
your
first
#1
time.
fan. Yeah.
I don't I don't know how to interpret this comment. What do you mean background noise?
It does feel like a backhanded compliment somewhat, but all the same, he's paid
Take it as a compliment.
£5.
It's like when people say it's really great. I always fall asleep listening to your videos, and I think, well, I'm gonna choose to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, as long as your phone doesn't fall asleep and you still get the watch credits, that's all that matters. Jordy, I'm leaving you to last, but let's get Swapper's thoughts. Firstly, thoughts on the arse, and then just in general, Swappers.
Well, yes, it's an arse. I prefer a little bit more meat on the ones that I look at, but still, you know, it's
like Lizzo style, or what are we talking?
Not quite that big. Oh, come on, let's be
slap
sensible
the
about this.
waves.
But I'll be very short and sweet about the show. There's not an awful lot to say about it because it's pretty empty. I like Echo. I didn't despise it, really. It was kind of just, you know. Filoni is being a male feminist. It looked just like the CG cartoon. It looked exactly like a fan film. And I've probably seen better fan films online, to be honest with you. The video game plotting is evident all the way through it, just like Mandalorian. The best thing about it with the E-wings popping up, just like in this shot right here. And I will only continue to watch it to see if there are going to be any references to the sequel tragedy.
Or if we do it again. Here you go, folks. Tom has thoughts. Brown, I love you, but Rebel Moon looks dreadful. I'm just desperate for some decent entertainment, folks. So I'll just take it. I hope it's good. There's no right or wrong answer. Moving on. And Ruin just doing his best.
Okay. Last but by no means least, it's the man we all love, the top 10 ASMR artist himself, Jordy. Could you take us home, Jordy? What are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, it's a complicated mess of a show. It doesn't really know what it's for, and it doesn't know who it's for. It's basically unintelligible in large parts to anybody who hasn't watched the cartoons, but at the same time, it introduces a whole bunch of stuff in the off-screen in between times, which no one, fans of cartoons or otherwise, can actually understand, and it doesn't do too much to pay that off. If you've got to the end of episode 2, you are a quarter of the way through the entire series, and I don't really know that anyone can say they are confident where this is going, except that it will probably be quite rushed. There's a huge amount of, I think there is quite a lot of love on the part of Dave Filoni for the characters that he's introducing here, but spending this much money and this much time on something that is so unapproachable to casual fans at a time when Disney really, really needs the viewers and Star Wars really, really needs to be reinvigorated. It's a terrible strategy. I would love it if this all came together because, you know, Filoni's put many years into it. I think there are aspects of the universe that he does genuinely adore and that has put some thought into. The problem is he's not a very good writer, and the problem is that he isn't a very good director. And the problem is that this show probably shouldn't really exist. So I'll carry on watching it. There's some nice things to look at, but otherwise, not impressed.
Okay,
not a good writer, not a good director, and the show shouldn't exist. That's fantastic.
His hat's okay, though. He's got a good hat.
Oh, he's fabulous hats. Yes, it's a shame about everything that falls underneath it. We should have. How remiss of me! I should have got a score from you all. So we'll just quickly.
Did you ask
whiz
Zee,
around.
by the way, or did I?
Yeah,
kind of
we did Zee. But
Okay.
I'm going to go back to Zee. So Zee, what's your score out of 10, please? Episode 1 of Ahsoka.
If you watch the cartoons, you'll probably give it a 7 or an 8. If you don't watch the cartoons or are one of us, you'll probably give it a 5 or a 4.
Okay. Brownie, what would you say?
Production-wise, it looks good. All the kind of stuff we've had from the Star Wars stuff has looked really good. It's looked really good in places. Obviously, a couple bits look iffy. I'm going to give this 4 out of 10 purely because of the hard work from the production people. Other than that, it's just utter shite. Just garbage. Not needed. Didn't need this at all.
4 seems to be the popular score amongst the chat as
Yeah.
well. Although Atom Gray's annoyed that we've moved away from the R shot. He wasn't quite finished.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
Atom.
think the worst travesty of all is Star Wars. It is boring.
Yeah.
Boring AF.
Mm. Boring out of 10, indeed. Swappers, what's your verdict? Score?
I'll give this a 4 out of 10.
Mm.
But if they are going to do something with the World Between Worlds later on and completely retcon the sequel trilogy, I'll give it a 5.
Oh, just an extra one. What about you, Brian?
Say the late great Ray Stevenson's shoulder pads and the inclusion of Glynis Barber / Makepeace drags it up to a rather insipid 4 for me.
Oh, okay. There's a popular score. And Jordy?
3, because I have a feeling I'm going to need numbers 1 and 2 later. So.
Oh, he's giving himself room for maneuver. Well, I mean, I was going to give it a 0, but then I thought I'll give it a 1 mark for every arse. So I'm giving it 23 out of 10 this first episode. So there we go.
Did you ask Echo? I can't remember. I'm old.
Did I? Have I skipped past you, Echo?
No, you skipped me.
Brownie, you're so
you know,
old. God damn it.
There were some okay bits and pieces in the show. You know, there was a lot of ass, but I didn't appreciate or particularly like the contouring of the ass, and so there's a different dynamic there.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
There's too much padding on the asses. Not enough. And you needed some Dutch angles or some movement.
Yeah.
So in terms of glutes, there's a lot of representation, but not enough in terms of cinematography or delivery on the ass, if you know what I mean. So I have to sort of stay at a 3 for that reason, I think.
Okay, that's fair enough. Excellent breakdown right at the death there. We do love you for that. Max Relax is throwing in an €11 super sticker right at the death. So we thank you, Max. And we indeed thank all the chats, all of you,
Fantastic.
and all the newcomers. And we hope you enjoyed it. And we hope you'll come back again. And yeah, Brownie, it's just safe to say, well, look, we got through it together. And thank you to all my retrobates on the panel. Thank you, Z.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to our newcomer. Thank you, Echo. You're fabulous tonight, sir.
Oh, cheers, guys. Yeah, it's just coming up on midday here in Auckland, New Zealand.
Well, we're 20 past 1 in the morning here in the damned UKs on a school night. Thank you to Swappers.
Thank you. Thanks to the chat. Thanks to the panel. Wonderful company and great fun as always. Thank you.
And thank you, Brian.
Cheers, Rune. Thanks also to Brownie, Lost Cord, Swappers, the chat, the excellent Echo Chamberlain, and of course tonight's man of the match, Zee-ThreePIO.
Oh, of course. That is the what do the Americans phrase that they use? The
MVP. Most player.
Yes, you're our MVP. MVP 3PO. I'm trying to make that work. MVP. No, never mind. And finally, thank you, Jordy, for your incredible insights and enthusiasm and ASMR and your half-assed attempt at doing cat whales and various other things we had you doing tonight. But thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure, even if it is Disney Star Wars.
True.
Are we doing episode
Brownie,
2 is the question.
Well,
how long was the episode? Do we know, Jordy? How long?
I think it's
51.
Yeah.
Just talk over each other so I didn't hear any of you.
51.
Episode 2.
Well, episode 2, I think it's 45, roughly.
Oh, fuck.
I had a feeling it was slightly shorter, but then there'll also be like the recap at the beginning.
Is it like watching paint dry?
Yes.
Oh,
no, I thought there was a bit more interesting stuff in episode 2, but on the whole, it was predicated on the nonsense little plot hole involving a droid. And then there's some galactic sort of world building stuff, some of which was interesting, but again, really kind of failed to deliver. There was more to kind of get into, I think, with episode 2.
I think it's scheduling to get the guests on, isn't it? That's the
44 minutes is the exact time it tells us. We cut bits out, as Jordy said.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Well, I think we call it a night, shall we, Brown? And
we'll get back to you on that one boys
Yeah,
and girls.
TBC, folks.
We'll be-
Shall we
be
ask the
definitely-
chat if they want to do
No,
it? Maybe?
no, I've asked them. They said yes.
Do a poll. Yeah.
So
But if they
Yeah,
said
they
yes,
said
then we
we'll
have to.
rush.
Yeah, we've had superb numbers tonight. So
We went through all of Mando season 3.
Yes, come on, Brown. If we can get through that, we can get through anything.
We
Okay,
did
well-
She-Hulk, for Christ's sakes.
As long as there's some more arse in the next one, I'm sure we'll all be
Okay.
back.
leave it with us.
Leave it with us, folks. Until next time, whenever that is, we wish you well. Stay safe, stay
Cheers,
well.
chats.
And as always, may the force be with you. Good night, man, babies.
Timing. Is it timing? Yeah, it definitely is.
Wow.